Shank Rock is the wave of the future. The diagrams that I have up, where did this go wrong at?
Remember, we didn't know this happened to her.
Oh. That's how they figured out she was pregnant.
Around 3 o'clock that morning, I got random text messages and it was just pictures of her and the other little girl. I thought it was strange.
Some of y'all might say, who is Shank Rock? Shank Rock is black media. Well, what is black media? Black media is all about allowing black people to be themselves first. It's not about race. It's not about religion. It's not about politics. It's about doing what's right. It's about holding those that needs to be held accountable to be held accountable. I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Why hasn't Shanquella Robinson received justice after all this time? Part 2. Salute to the chat. Salute to all my wonderful moderators. Salute to the replay gang. Now, earlier today, I done a part 1, and I had Mel and Nikki Lynn to join me on the panel. Shout out to Mel and Nikki Lynn. I'm going to drop the link, and Mel and Nikki Lynn, whenever y'all are ready to join me on the panel, come on up. Others are invited as well. If you would like to come up on the panel and share your opinion and your perspective on this demonstration, just click on the blue StreamYard link. I see you, Goddess, Positive Vibes, Ernestine, Shari. I see y'all in the chat. Now, we left off on whether or not there's a podcast, and I'm not going to mention the podcast name just out of respect, because I didn't check with this podcast to see whether or not they wanted me to mention their name. But a podcast has came out with, and I have to say allegedly, the podcast came out with allegedly new revelations pertaining to the case. Now, of course, for us over here, well, for me, let me just speak for me. And, I do believe Nikki and Mel made reference to what I'm about to say as well. But let me just speak for me. The things that the podcaster came out with, none of it was new to me. All right. Now, for some of y'all, y'all may have heard something new, but it was, so let me just catch everybody up to speed. So allegedly, there's one of the Cabo members that was on the trip. All right. Now, at 3 a.m. in the morning, this Cabo member received a call from Dejanay Jackson. Now, the name that this Cabo 6 member is going by, or Cabo member is going, they're going by the name of Mike. Now, some believe that it's a strong possibility that it's Nazia. I don't believe that, because here's my thing. Why would Nazia now? Because remember the video that Nazia had already done, right? In that video, Nazia never mentioned nothing about a call that he received at 3 a.m. Now I've been covering enough cases to know how social media works. I've been in predicaments before where people will come to me acting like somebody that's in the case, but of course they wanted to remain anonymous. And to me, if I can't get you to come on the platform to be able to speak on it, then what you're saying is non void. What you're saying is not going to count. But then you do have some content creators that, hey, if it's a story and if they can run with the story and if they can get these views and things of that nature, oh, they're going to run with it. That's why I said when I get called out for being a clout chaser, hell to the nah. Because if Shank, with all of the stuff that came past me, with all of the stuff that was dumped on my desk, I would have at least 1 million subscribers, at least 1 million followers. On my demonstrations, I would have 100,000, 200,000. I would have 1 million views on my demonstrations. But I'm not into that. And for everybody that's been rocking with me since the Shanquella Robinson case, y'all know how I get down. I'll entertain a little of this, I'll entertain a little of that. But now let's get down to business. Let's eat some home cooked meals instead of eating that gas station food. You know what I mean? And the gas station food is going to get me a lot of views. It's going to get me a lot of subscribers because that's what people gravitate to. But I'd rather stick with the home cooked meal. Might not get a lot of people, but at least I know as a man first. I know as a man, I didn't put out no BS. I didn't. Shank, I think it's someone that they pay to try and blow smoke and get people off their track. Strong possibility. Because, I mean, come on, y'all. Now, could it been Dejanay's boyfriend? Let's start there. All right. Positive says stick to the truth and your ball. Positive vibes wouldn't be positive vibes if she didn't get a roast in. Now, it's a strong possibility. Now, we're going to deal with the facts, right? We're going to stick with the facts. Shank, we all know you are bringing the real. Let's stick with the facts. Now, when the FBI released their packet, even though it was redacted, however, in the FBI's file, it says that Dejanay's boyfriend did call. Follow me. Dejanay's boyfriend did call late in that morning, anywhere between 2 to 5 a.m. Now, Mike could be Dejanay's boyfriend. So I'll leave that on the table. And when Mel and Nikki and whoever else come up here, we can chop it up about could this Mike character, could it be Dejanay's boyfriend? Drop a one if it's a possibility that this Mike character could be Dejanay's boyfriend. Drop a 2 if you feel like, nah, Shank, nah. What is the purpose? All of a sudden, positive vibes dropped the 1. Shari dropped the 1. Mel says, I was thinking that in the beginning. I can't pronounce. I'm going to just call you Purple. Purple dropped the 1. All right, I see Mel. All right. Ernestine dropped the 2. Talk to you, Mel.
Can you hear me, Shank?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Before I talk to you about that, How was y'all weather there? Because I was watching the Weather Channel and North Carolina looks crazy.
We snowed in.
I figured that. It's still snowing there, right?
Yep.
Well,
Yep. We snowed
just
in down here.
yeah, I was watching it on the Weather Channel, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's insane!" But just glad you guys are in warm, and um, the best thing about it, you can tell that our country has been working on the infrastructure because, baby, everybody be out of power by now. I'm
Hmm.
just saying, but I'm glad you guys are safe and all of that. And so, uh, when the when the when I listened to that when I listened to the podcast and then they went on to say that Mike said that Dejanay called him at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
The first thing that came to my mind, I swear to God, and even just Mike just saying, like how Dejanay wanted Shanquella to go home, and I'm thinking, why would you call Nazir, which there's just another name that's out there, saying that you wanted Shanquella to go home? But then I remember, but what threw me off with that thought process, I'm not sure if it threw me off, but when it just a lot of the phone, so we just think about go through the whole phone call. So they said that she was trying to call the boyfriend, but she couldn't reach the boyfriend. But the boyfriend called, but the boyfriend called the next morning. But then we have to realize that could be possible because remember the 6 hour time difference.
Hmm.
So if it's 3 o'clock in the morning in North Carolina, if he called back and he couldn't get her, and then he I guess reached out to some. We didn't ever say he reached out to other friends. It was like he spoke directly with Dejanay. But that would make sense when you think of the time difference, right?
Hmm.
But then I do remember, in Nazir's live video, how he was saying that when he got to Mexico, that he had called everybody in the house, right?
Hmm.
So all of these phone calls, these different phone calls, was turning on light bulbs, and I was like, still trying to figure out. So in the midst of her trying to reach her boyfriend, and he didn't answer, then she turned around and called Mike at 3 o'clock in the morning, which of course it would have been, um, in the morning, in the later in the morning, in Cabo. But when you think about 3 o'clock, I think during that time, I don't know if it had quite reached daylight savings time. I can't remember, but again, the time difference between 5 and 6 hours, I'll put it out like that. That still would have equated to it being after the attack, if the attack happened around between 7 and 7:15. You feel me? So
Yes, ma'am.
those are the times that kind of threw me off. That kind of like halted my thought process on that.
And we gotta remember, I know a lot of people, call Nazir a liar, and a lot of people don't really, believe Nazir, but he did say on another social media platform, all this over a boy. Yes or no, Mel?
Yeah, you're right, but he didn't. Well, it was his his actual page. It's
Right.
just on another social media platform. Yeah, he did say that.
Now I'm just saying this to say maybe this Mike character, maybe it's Dejanay's
Mike.
boyfriend. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. So now you see why my thought, I told you my thought process kind of halted on what I was thinking before, because I was trying to
mhm,
distinguish the differences. Could this really be two different people?
mhm,
And but then, as a creator began to kind of like tell the story, that story aligned so much with Nazir's statement of events that happened, and also to me, it's almost like a direct, almost. I want to make sure I kind of highlight that word, direct replica of the little episode that was on Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So now we're looking at it if they know these things, because we always said, and I want everybody to focus in on this. We've always said, in order for this case to be solved, in order for the mystery, to be unresolved, somebody is gonna have to talk. And I've always said this because I've seen it in real time. I've witnessed it in real time, and I've seen it on several documentaries and TV shows. Over time, those that are involved, over time, fallouts begin to take place for whatever reasons. And when these fallouts take place, here comes the MFer think they slick. I'ma see how they feel when I take this to the police. Nowadays, it's social media. MFer think he or she slick. I'ma see what they say when I take this to social media. That's the plane that I'm landing. It's nowhere in the world that you could tell me that those 6 and possibly 7, because remember, Mel, the table was set for how many? And how many did we see? Come in, Mel, help me out.
It was set for 8 people.
Now,
And so we
if you got, I'm gonna let you come in, Mel. Give me 1 second, because you know I'll forget. If you got 6 members, that's in Cabo 6. Remember,
mm-hmm,
Nazir wasn't even there. He didn't
mm-hmm,
even get there till the next day. So minus Nazir out of that. So it's 2 people that's not accounted for.
mm-hmm.
Come on in, Mel, and then Nikki, you come in.
Well, I would say that I think a very, very important um, part of it is also, and then it's also how we're counting people. And I think because Shanquella is no longer with us, we never seem to count her in anything. But she was a person there, so she's got to be counted. And the one thing that really stood out to me, I guess that came out of the FBI situation, was that during that attack, there was 4 people in the room. And again, we've conditioned ourselves to eliminate Shanquella from every room because she's no longer with us. But at the end of the day, she was in that room. So if we count the 4 people that was in the room during the actual attack, right? That would have made Shanquella, that would have made Dejanay, that would have made, we assume, Winter, the filmer, and then Malik, the talker. So if we just do 4 and still eliminate Nazir, who wasn't there at that particular moment, there still leaves Elise and Khalil. 4 people in the room. You have to count Shanquella because she was in the room. So that's 4 people. So that eliminates Elise and Khalil, right? So then if we move forward and say, okay, well, the FBI interviewed only 4 people. So we have to now eliminate Shanquella from that because we know that she's no longer with us. So what 4 people did they interview? Was it the 3 people that was in the room plus one other person, which in my mind would have to go either between uh, what is his name, Kalia or Elise. So there's 4 people in the room during the attack. 4 people they interviewed. So based off those 4 people interviewed, were they the 4 people that was being investigated, or were they were just the 4 people that was interviewed? But I feel like in the room, if they said that it was only 4 people there, we would have to count Shanquella because Shanquella was in the room. Or are they not counting her and said that there was an additional person in the room, which would still be 4 people in the room? That's if they're not counting her as a person that was in the room during the attack. I'm not sure how they're looking at that. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Now let me catch Nikki up to speed to where we're at. I don't know if you came in and I don't know when you came in.
Yeah, I came in late.
Okay, so we're at this character number 5. Okay. Now I'm saying, and Mel is saying the same thing. We're like maybe this character named Mike, maybe it is somebody, and maybe it's the boyfriend of Dejanay, because there was some phone play, some phone activity going on early in the AM, according to the FBI's paperwork, that Dejanay tried to contact him. He didn't answer. And then he tried to contact her. She didn't answer. And then he had to get through, I believe, to Elise and them. So maybe there is some facts to this character Mike. What do you think? Could this character Mike be the boyfriend of Dejanay?
I think you and Mel slipping. I think you and Mel both heard the podcast. And so based on what we know and what the guy Mike said, come on, Shane.
But Nikki,
Let's
I'm
not
not slipping
wait a
because
minute. Let's not forget what we already know, though. Based
right.
on what Mike supposedly said, because we didn't hear Mike ourselves. Based on what Mike supposedly said, he said that he spoke to Dejanay. He spoke to Dejanay. He talked her down. What we understand from the investigation, from the civil suit, from the other Cabo 6 members is that Dejanay never spoke to her boyfriend when he called that night. That she kept trying to call. She didn't get in touch with him. He had to get in touch with her by talking to one of the girls. And that was that morning. So I hear y'all, but you can't forget about the stuff we already know that's in, I'm going to say, quote unquote, evidence. We just can't make Mike's story fit and make him some other person.
We wasn't making him another person. I said, which I told you when I first heard the entire podcast. But the first thing I said to you was, if there's Nazir and he talked to Dejanay, because I just remembered in his live, and I'm speaking about Nazir, not Mike, he, because they had me thinking like, it never came out in the beginning that he spoke to Dejanay, right? So then I'm taking in consideration, like I explained to you, also the time zone. The time zone is a 6-hour time difference. So that's why in the beginning I said, well, maybe he spoke to her when he was on his way to the airport. But then no. So with the attack taking place around between 7 and 7:15, then to speak with him, it would have been probably 3 o'clock North Carolina time. So he's probably right about that. But then I had to listen to, I'm not listening to, but I had to remember the other phone calls that he also made, where he tried to call and nobody answered. And then he was trying to call everybody in the villa and nobody answered. And then finally somebody answered, but I can't remember who he said it was, so they can give him directions on where to go. So, but because the fact that he never alluded to the fact that he talked to her or that she called him at 3 o'clock in the morning, And I'm thinking like, oh well, is that who she was calling? And missed the call, and he called back the next morning, which would have been the next morning to them. But to whoever's in North Carolina, it's still like 3 o'clock in the morning. So even though it is the next morning, it's still dark. So we still think we're in the same day. But it was morning to them because they were ahead in time zone. That's what I was saying.
Okay, so I thought Shank, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shank, I thought Shank's question was, what if Mike is Dejanay's boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay,
But
so
but
that's
that
what
was
I was
but that right, but
responding
that was
to.
right. And so that was the question. So I began to look at it two ways. But I told you that when I first heard the podcast, and I told you I was like, I wonder if Nazir could be Dejanay boyfriend because he said Dejanay called him at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning North Carolina time. But in Mexico, it was fast forward. I don't know what the time was. It 6 o'clock in the morning? Was it before the attack happened? Because there was a time zone. So I don't know if it was a 5 hour difference or a 6 hour difference or 4 hour difference. I don't know because I don't remember. So
Right, but
to
go
them,
ahead.
it's in the morning. To him, it was in the morning, but it was 3 o'clock. But to them, it's later.
But that's not
So
the discrepancy to me. The discrepancy is, and I thought I was answering what
I didn't.
Shank asked.
Right.
The
I didn't.
discrepancy to me is Dejanay saying, or them saying Dejanay never got to speak to her boyfriend that night
Mm,
when she kept calling, and this
right.
Mike guy saying Dejanay called her and spoke to her about the incident
So
Stay right,
involving her and
stay,
Shanquella at three
stay,
o'clock.
right. So
stay
is
right
that
there
a
real quick.
discrepancy or a lie?
Let me come in real quick before I forget. Correct. However, we do know that eventually he did speak with her because he called. So she called him first. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't get through to him.
Correct.
When he seen the missed calls, he called her. It was later on when he called her, he couldn't get through to her. So he called Elise or one of them, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's how he ended up speaking with her because then she explained to him what was going on, and he boosted her up. Go handle your business. I don't think in those words, but so
Right.
he did speak with her. That yeah.
Exactly.
Go ahead,
So
Nikki.
right.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's what
go
I'm
ahead,
I'm
Vicky.
with you on that. That's what I'm saying. But that's where the discrepancy lies because per Mike's um news story, he's saying that Dejanay called him at 3 o'clock in the morning and he talked her down. He talked her down. He thought things were solved. He thought it was handled. He told her, let it go. No, don't send Shanquella home. So I'm saying herein lies the discrepancy. This is why I don't think Mike is Dejanay's boyfriend. There's a big discrepancy here. First of all, Dejanay calling him and being able to connect. He said Dejanay called him 3 o'clock in the morning. He was able to talk her down. That's not what happened. When we hear Dejanay talking to her boyfriend, it was because the boyfriend called back, had to get in touch with one of the girls. This is later. Then, like you said, boosted her up. And then that's when we assume that she goes to fight Shanquella. So there's the discrepancy. That's why I was answering no, I don't think Mike is Dejanay's boyfriend.
Right. But is it a discrepancy or a lie?
It
He
depends on
went
whether or
on to
not you
say,
believe
well,
Mike or Nazia
the
or the
part
story, period.
right. That's what I'm saying. That's where the light bulb came on for me. And then I'm also going to tie this into what Shake said. The light bulb came on for me when the Mike person gave the interview and said Dejanay called him at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was said. The interview, the whole podcast is like 52 minutes. You have to listen to it. But when you go to think about it, the time. See, we think it's 3 o'clock in the morning, but we have to realize it's not 3 o'clock in the morning in Mexico. It's later in the morning. You feel me? So then when you go back to I don't even know who said it or whose statement it was to say, okay, well, she's talking to her boyfriend and her boyfriend boosted up the egg on the fight. I don't know who said that. I don't. But you so did the boyfriend egg her up the fight? I don't know who said that. I heard. I mean, it's being said, but who said that? You know what I'm saying? So if that's not a verified statement that was given to the FBI, then who said that the boyfriend hyped her up to fight? Now, if I don't know, I don't know who said it, but it was said. Who said that?
It's in the packet, correct, Nikki?
Okay,
Yeah,
uh,
more or less, it came out of
okay.
the statements from
So
any one of the Cabo Six members. We just don't know who.
now you can see where I am and my thought process. If we're to say that her boyfriend might egged her on to fight, and again we have to think about the time frames, even the time stamps of when the fight between her attacking Shanquella was between 7 and 7:15. If it's 3 o'clock in Mexico, we already know we 4, 5, maybe 6 hours ahead. In okay, it's 3 o'clock in North Carolina. We know that we're ahead of time in Mexico. So who is if she's talking to Mike and Mike is saying yes, let Sinclair stay, just the whole conversation from what the podcaster was saying that he said in the interview was a little weird for me for you just to be calling one of the people on that was going to be on the trip that's not even there yet to have that type of conversation. Now, to me, that sounds more like a conversation you be having with your boyfriend. Like, I want to leave. I don't want to hear. But to just another person that's going to be on the trip,
But she did
when it
call her
was out, when it was,
boyfriend and he didn't
but
answer.
that's what I'm saying, Nikki. Who said that? If the
It's
boyfriend
in
did,
the
okay, all right.
investigation packet, Mel.
So
She
I know. So
supposedly called her boyfriend. He didn't
he didn't
answer.
answer. So she called Nazir. I mean
We
Mike.
only are finding out that she supposedly called Mike now because that's
Right.
what Mike told the podcast people.
Exactly, Nikki. So that's why I said that's when the light bulb came on in my head. It was like, well, hold on.
Let me let me slide in for a second, y'all. Let me get the chat involved. I see you, sis. I see you, Deborah. All right. So Miss Jam says, go backward on time. It would have been 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. West Coast time or Mountain. Hold tight. Santan says Mexico would be 2 or 3 hours behind y'all, like Cali. Hold up. No. Santan says, no, it's earlier in Mexico. Miss Jam says Mexico would have been either 12 or 1 a.m. if it's 3 a.m. in South Carolina. I don't know if they messing with me or not because I see suntan. I see Miss Jans laughing. Yes, Miss Jans, they not listening. And I'm going to call suntan and Miss Jams out. Y'all all, I think Miss Jams hit the panel one time. I think suntan, but y'all two, I'm calling suntan and Miss Jams out. Y'all two be having the most to say, and y'all won't never come up on this panel. Come on, Mel and Nikki. I know Mel and Nikki like, what the hell's going on, Shank?
No, I can appreciate what they're saying. It's not that I wasn't listening to them.
Okay, okay,
It's
okay,
that Mel was still speaking. I don't
okay.
think the time frame matters so much with Mel with what Mel is saying. I get what she's saying, but I understand what Miss Jams and Suntan is saying. What they're saying is no, you got it backwards. If Mike received a call at 3 a.m., it would have only been 12 o'clock in Mexico. I got it. I
Right,
got what they were saying.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking it up right now because they have a weird daylight saving time. It's a little bit weirder than ours. Like our daylight savings time change on one day, but because of the time difference, theirs change on another day. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I can't do it on my phone, so I had to pull out my laptop.
but I'm gonna look for it right now.
No,
Just so
I
we have it.
always kind of understood what they
Yeah,
were
just
saying.
so we
I
have
just don't
right.
think it mattered to who received the call back in North Carolina. So whether it's Mike or Nazir, they got the call at 3 a.m., but Dejanay would have been making the call at 12 or 1. I got that.
Right. No, that's what I'm going to verify now, the time. But I do, but again, in some of that other conversation, it was also said that in that podcast, she also shared that Mike said that a lot of the evidence that they need is in their phones. So when I heard that part of it, I can remember the part of his the live that he was on, and he alluded to I don't know if y'all remember this, but Nikki, I know I kind of spoke with you about it, but Shank, I know how your memory is, so I'm gonna take you back a minute. So remember when he said that I lost my chain of thought. I swear to God, I don't know what it is.
You've been around me too long. Let me
God, I
slide.
lost
Let
my
me
chain
slide
of
in for a
thought.
second. Appreciate this super sticker, Deborah. Miss Jam says Mel kept saying 5 or 6 hours time difference. Shari says if she says, and if there was a real man there, they would not have let Big Back do that to Shanquella. So that's how you can tell they were all involved in or knew what was going to happen. Just my opinion. Okay, come on in, Mel, if you caught your thought, or Nikki, however y'all want to come in. Nobody want to come in?
I was
So,
trying to remember where Mel was going with it. I was trying to recall what she was saying. It's like
you
right
can't
there.
remember nothing either, Nikki?
I'm just trying to think about
Damn.
it for a minute.
I'm rubbing off on everybody. Damn.
Damn, it was right there. I promise you it was.
Damn. Y'all let the bad things of Shank Rocker rub off on y'all, huh?
But,
All right, I
okay,
see. I
so
see.
while I think about it, what were we talking about though? And it'll probably click back on me.
Nobody remembers.
No, but what were we talking about prior to that?
Nobody remembers.
Okay, let me think. I'm gonna talk it through. So I remember him. Oh, I got it. See, so remember also in um the conversation that he was having on the live, he stated that they called back home to ask somebody, like after the way I see it is after the attack on Shanquella. Shanquella was in really really bad shape, so they called back home to ask somebody what to do. So they asked whoever they were talking to. I don't even know who was talking to who, but whoever was talking to who asked them, what kind of symptoms, what kind of signs was she showing. And when they told them, whoever they talked to back in North Carolina was the person that gave them the alcohol poison uh, assessment or what they would use. It would be alcohol poison because she was showing signs of that, but we all know that that's not what it was. But that's what they do. So just like even having a conversation with Nikki, we were talking about with that being said about the like how they planned the fight. They knew it was going to be a fight. That's why everybody showed up in the room with their phones. So it would have been more like maybe they was filming it because they didn't think that but we could see from the video, the kicking in the back of the neck and the stomping and the punching that she was doing to the back of her neck. I I I don't think none of us um, could have imagined that they actually showed up to really really damage her. They was filming it because I think they wanted to embarrass her. As you know, this what happened on our trip. This she was drunk and Dejanay, did this and that. I think that was more of what it might have been.
Now, let me just slide in and let me ask this so we can be on the same page because I'm going somewhere. All right.
Hmm.
Are we in agreement with what the FBI says happened? Nikki, Mel, are we in agreement?
No.
Okay. Mel?
I'm sorry, I don't know what they say happened.
Okay. As far as the glass being broke by Shanquella and then Dejanay steps on the glass. Nikki says she's not in agreement. What about you, Mel?
Oh, that's the part I'm not saying I'm not in agreement with. But go ahead.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can say. Yeah, I can see that happening. I can.
Yeah, I
I
can
can
see
see
that
that happening.
happening also. Yeah.
Okay, so Ernestine says nope, Shank. Let me see what Shari says. Ernestine, I'm glad you feel the same. I want to get down to the who all touch Shanquella. They all need to go down. So here's my thing, Nikki and Mel, help me better understand. When the FBI releases their packet, and this is what I said on one. I don't think the FBI would take a chance of putting out false information. Now, they'll take a chance with not putting out the information before putting out information that's false. Because I don't see them putting out some information because it's going to come back to bite them. Nikki, Mel?
Right. So if y'all give me a minute to explain this, because I want people to understand. The autopsy from Mecklenburg is also part of the FBI's investigative package. And so, regardless of them having statements from the Cabo 3 or 4 in their investigative packet, because those statements are subjective. Those are the statements of the liars from, the villa from Cabo 6. Those aren't the statements of what the FBI is saying they found. Those are the statements from the Cabo 6. That being said, the only thing that we've really seen from the FBI thus far is the autopsy report. And from the autopsy report, the FBI is stating that her unaliving is inconclusive. They're stating we don't know what happened to her. We don't know how she passed away. So that's what we have to keep in mind. They're not blaming it on one person. They certainly aren't blaming it on the attack. They never reference the video at all, which we all see, which is what I've always been a bit upset about. We all see the video. How can you not reference the attack? But they do allude to the fact of, well, her friends say she was drinking alcohol. Maybe she was, and although there's no alcohol in her system, maybe there was enough time for it to have burned off. That's what I have a problem with. So again, we don't know what the FBI findings were other than from the autopsy for them to say it was inconclusive. We don't know how she passed away. And we don't necessarily think anybody that was on the trip did it. Although there's a video that shows who did it, or at least one of them.
Let me just slide in, Nikki. Shari says, Mr. Shank, no disrespect. I'm not trying to go off topic. Just thinking about what happened to Shanquella really breaks my heart. No, you're good, Shari. You're good. I don't know. I can't remember how long you've been over here rocking with us, but you good. Everybody has their own opinion and everybody has their own perspective. So you're good. You're good. Everybody, I want everybody to feel comfortable. You don't have to agree with Shank. You don't have to agree with Nikki. You don't have to agree with Mel. Everybody is entitled to their own perspectives. I see you, Leslie. I see you, Alma. So the FBI didn't see that video. Come back in, Nikki or Mel.
I just want to say I think we all agree with you, Shari. And we're not being what's the word? We're not overlooking the fact that what happened to her was very painful. We're just kind of, discussing what we see, the evidence, what's in the investigation packet, the video. So I don't ever mean to sound callous when I discuss evidence, and I know it can come off that way, but that's not my intent. So I absolutely agree with you. What happened to Shanquella is heartbreaking, is horrifying, and we do see the video. And Leslie, to answer your question, honestly, how could they not have seen the video? The video was sent to the FBI's office. And again, I gleaned that information from the redacted FBI files. Someone sent the video to the FBI office. So we know they saw the video. All I'm saying is they never referenced the video. They never referenced it in the autopsy, which is kind of ridiculous. It's almost as if they're overlooking the obvious elephant in the room. You do this autopsy, you say all these different things, you give us all these buts, but you never address the elephant in the room. The video. There's a video that shows her being attacked.
Let's talk about the civil suit. I want to talk about the civil suit, and I want to talk about the warrant for Dejanay Jackson, now known as Imani Green. Let's start with the warrant. Are Nikki, Mel, and me, are we on the same page when it comes to the warrant as far as it's still being active? We're just waiting for the DOJ to prioritize that. Are we, is that correct, Nikki and Mel?
That's pretty much correct, yes.
Mel?
I concur.
Okay. What happens if the warrant finally gets prioritized? What do y'all see happening?
It's a process that happens per the treaty. If there's an active warrant for a United States citizen inside our country that's wanted in another country, then there's a process that needs to be followed. So again, this goes through the DOJ, the Department of Justice. They have to, follow the chain of command, so to speak, to prioritize this warrant. And Dejanay goes through a court process similar to what you go through here, where she gets to address this warrant. And there's a legal process that she go through where she gets to fight extradition. So it doesn't necessarily mean she would be extradited back to Mexico, but the process gets started. But they haven't even addressed the fact that they're trying to send Dejanay back to Mexico.
Let me get you, Mel. What would you see as far as, and I know you probably don't know too much of Mexico's laws because I don't, but what you kind of like feel will happen? Do you think that Mexico would, because Mexico still got to, correct me if I'm wrong, Mexico still has to come on U.S. soil to pick her up? Nikki or Mel, am I correct?
No, they don't have to come here and pick her up. That's the purpose of the whole treaty. It's an agreement between the two countries.
So let me just, so what will happen, you're saying, is that, okay, once the warrant get prioritized, okay, now the warrant is active, the marshals or whomever picks her up, whomever picks her up, here, are they responsible to transporting her over to Mexico, like in a federal case? Like, let's say you got a federal case in Maryland, they catch you in Michigan, and then the marshals put you on that plane and transport you to Maryland from Michigan. But now we're dealing with international. Know what I'm trying to say? So my question is, who would actually be responsible? Would it be the U.S. or would it be Mexico? Who would be responsible for transporting her over there? I see you, Evan.
So it's typically the jurisdiction that wants you is responsible for coming to get you. But per the treaty, there is some type of, alliance that we form. I don't know if we, with our U.S. Marshals, would go on the plane with her, meet them halfway, if they would come and meet us halfway and get her. But it's typically the jurisdiction that wants you that has to come and get you. And we have the responsibility of holding you for a certain period of agreed time.
That's true.
For them to come and get you, and if they don't come and get you, then you're released.
She's gonna be escorted. She's gonna be escorted to. She's gonna be escorted to Mexico by U.S. Marshals. They're gonna turn her over right at the airport. They're gonna be waiting for her at the airport.
Okay.
But
at the airport.
At the airport, at the wherever the airport is over there in Mexico. Now the U.S. Marshals not gonna go and deliver her to the jail. They already have to have somebody there to get her. But she will be escorted back to Mexico by U.S. Marshals.
Okay. Now, what was the second thing that I mentioned? We talked about the DOJ, the warrant. What was the second thing that I mentioned?
You was asking about, I don't know if you was asking about why Dejanay's isn't even being sent back, or if you was going a different direction with that.
No, it was too. I don't need you and Mel up here, Nikki. Y'all memory is worse than mine. So wait, I don't need
Shay, let me just say this to you right now. I got to say it. You are asking a question, right? But you keep asking the question.
Okay, so, hear me out now. Hear me out before you hit me upside the head, Mel. Remember, I said it's going to be two things that we're going to focus on. I said we're going to focus on the warrant. Remember? And it was something else that I said we was going to focus on.
You said the civil suit.
Okay, there you go. I know Marty or Squeak probably text you real quick.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
No, they didn't. You just had to remind me what you was talking about, because your ass, you all over the place now. Come on.
Yeah. Let's talk about the civil suit, everybody. Mel?
Okay, go ahead. What we talking about, the civil suit? I see some questions in the chat, which is kind of centering around that. But what specifically about the civil suit?
Okay, let me get my chat involved, because I know they down there having a ball on me. Let me get my chat involved. All right, I see you, Ebony. Ebony says October 30th, November 7th, there was a 3-hour time difference between North Carolina and Cabo. North Carolina was 3 hours ahead during that time. I literally have it written down. Hold tight, Mel. Oh, now you want to talk, Mel?
Because I was trying to pull it up on my computer, but because I have to, what do you call it? I got to refresh or re-up. I have to pay for my Microsoft processor. So my computer's processing really, really slow, but I'm very, very bad about doing things I'm supposed to do because I rarely use this laptop. And so it was taking a while for it to come up, and then it just came up. Like even right now, there's a 2-hour time difference between us and Cabo, St. Lucas, California Sur, which is basically that part of Mexico. So it's a 2-hour time difference.
All right, hold tight. And I'm going to skip down and I'm going to come back up. Now, Miss Jans want to holler, Shank, we are getting older. Please give us grace. Y'all wouldn't give me.
Thank you, Miss Jams. Thank you.
But see, y'all forget, a year ago, remember 2 years ago, nobody would give Shank old ass any grace. Let me come back up, y'all. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. All right. Ms. Jan says, DOJ is a whole new crew. You may have to tap them in about the file. Hold tight. Ernestine says, have anyone heard that the judge sent the case back to the state to hear this case? I hear that they will have to answer Ms. Robinson's questions. What about what happened? Yes, we spoke about that on part 1 earlier today. So Mecklenburg County will hear the case. Mel, Nikki, correct?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Right. And
Shari
I
said,
was explaining, I don't think I heard you say that earlier, Shane. I don't think I had come in yet. But basically, I was explaining that the judge could have kept the case in the Superior Court, but he also had the right to send it back to the lower level district court because the FBI and DOJ, which is federal, are now out of the case. So it's really just as simple as that.
Yeah.
Shari
And keep
says,
in
I
mind,
really,
everybody, this is just a civil suit. This is not a criminal, so it's not going to be a case. It's going to be a a civil suit. So basically, what would come out of that is them presenting their case about what happened to Shanquella, and then what the damages that they're seeking, but they're going to also be required to testify under oath, and that's the most important part of the whole case, of the whole civil suit, is the testimony under oath, so they can find out what happened to Shanquella and who's actually responsible.
I'm gonna read these few comments, then we're gonna go deeper. I really believe they should get sent to Mexico for what happened, but I don't understand how the law goes as far as that. Ms. Jan says exactly. And I really hope and pray that the housekeeping and whoever saw how Shanquella was have to testify. Shank, we are getting old. I said that. My memory bank is running on slow. Okay, thanks. Now, Nikki and Mel and everybody else. Why is Cabo 6 fighting the civil suit?
Oh, I would fight if somebody was suing me for a couple of $100,000, first of all. But the biggest reason is if they are found liable in the civil suit, it could bring about criminal charges. That's the biggest thing. If they are found liable in the civil suit, it could bring on criminal charges.
Stay right there. Stay right there, Nikki, because I know a lot of people have been asking that question. Mel, okay, we have the civil suit. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
criminal charges, as Nikki said, she ain't say guarantee it's going to come, but she said criminal charges could come. Mel, what
Mm-hmm.
would you see coming out of the civil suit that could lead up to criminal charges? And then, Nikki, I'm going to let you come in at the Mel as well and answer that too. Mel.
Okay. Okay. So when it comes to the criminal charges, so we have to go back to think about it if they planned it, right? So we talked about her death came as a result of a fight and the injury she sustained, right? But then you have to realize there's also the obstruction, right? We have obstruction there, um, which we have a lot of obstruction there, and then also the lack of care. So, with that being said, um, I think with it just depends on like how we already know who the main aggressor was, and basically that's who Mexico won. But this is the thing about it: if they are found liable in the civil, and enough information comes out in the civil for criminal charges, the USA can pick those charges up if they want to. They can then charge if they want to. That's a key component as well. If they find criminal behavior, then they can pick that up. They can charge Dejanay with manslaughter, and they can charge all the rest of them with obstruction. The United States can pick those charges up themselves without having to go through all the extradition process with Mexico. Mexico just turned it over to the U.S. So yeah, they can do that. So that's a good thing that will come out the civil suit as well.
Nikki?
So a couple of thoughts came to mind. Absolutely, I believe that the Cabo Six will be found liable because we have to remember in the civil suit is based on a preponderance of the evidence. And based on what this civil suit is detailing, obstruction of justice, negligence, and so forth. They are culpable. So will they be found guilty of those things? I absolutely think so. Will they all be found guilty of all of the same things? Not necessarily so. Dejanay, again, is charged with the taking of Shanquella's life in the civil suit. That's the first thing. But I have to caution, and I really believe this is the case, even though charges can come from the civil suit, criminal charges can come from the civil suit, I think all of those involved would have to come forth and say, yes, we seen Dejanay beat her. Yes, there was a plan for her to beat her. And yes, this is what took place afterwards. But as people have always said, they've all been sticking together and sticking to their story, because if they protect one, they protect themselves. It's going to take one of them to break and to turn against Dejanay. Do they feel the need to do that? The other thing is, even if they do, and even if they're found liable in the civil suit, will the FBI, the DOJ, think it's enough to proceed, to go forward? Because I'm still saying, if that's the case, then why wasn't the video ever enough? They would have to agree to go back and change the findings of their investigation.
Mel, you want to come back in or you want me to move on? All right.
You know, you can move on, Shank. I didn't want you to hear me eating chips, but yeah, you can move
What's
on.
stop? What's stopping her now, Nikki? 3 years of everybody hearing Mel eat chips. Now she must be tearing them chips up.
And
All right,
can
go
I
ahead.
address one of the questions from, I think it was Sherry, who asked about whether or not the housekeeping would have to testify.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
in my opinion, Sherry, I think everyone that was involved, whether it was the concierge, the housekeeper, the doctor, I think everyone will have to be deposed. Everyone will have to give a deposition. Can they make them all travel to the United States? Absolutely not. I think those people will appear by video camera, by Zoom, or some other, streaming services to appear in court. But I don't think they will make them travel to the United States. So I think they all will be deposed. They all will have to give a statement. But I think it will be by video camera.
Let me slide in. How many of y'all remember the street legal episode that they reenacted the Shanquella Robinson case? You remember that, Nikki?
On
Mel?
Tubi?
Yeah, on Tubi.
Yes.
The chat, y'all remember? How accurate were they? Do y'all come on, Nikki or Mel?
I always see. I didn't like the Tubi episode, and I don't mean I didn't like the production. And I didn't like the actors and what they put forth. I didn't like how some of the names and the personas would switch. But what I really didn't like were two things. I thought, not that it was inaccurate, but it just appeared to me, Shank, that what they did was they took every social media
Mm-hmm.
discussion
Mm-hmm.
amongst all the content creators and
Mm-hmm.
made it into a Tubi movie. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't appear to me that they had any inside knowledge. They just picked up on stuff that we had all been discussing. And this is a real life story I'm about to tell you. Not only that, I didn't like how at the end they made it appear as if those people went
Went.
to jail.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
when we came back from North Carolina, me, Marty, Squeak, we all still had our shirts on. We're traveling. And people was like, oh yeah, I remember that story.
Yep.
I remember that girl. Those people got locked up, right? And we're
Mm.
like, no.
Mm.
And to me, it was a false representation of what happened. So
Mm.
people who saw the Tubi movie obviously thought that the Cabo Six had been arrested, detained,
Mm-hmm.
tried for what
Mm-hmm.
happened to Shanquella. And here we are in the airport going, no, that's not what happened at all.
Mm-hmm.
Debunking what they saw
Mm-hmm.
maybe on the Tubi movie. So I didn't really think it was inaccurate, Shank. I just thought they just, compiled together everything that had been discussed.
Right. I didn't like, of course, the ending. I didn't like that. Ebony says, Nikki, yep. I didn't like that ending. I was curious to why was Nazia's character Caucasian? Nikki, Mel?
Ooh. Now, Shank, you do videos, you do productions, you can't figure that out.
I
You don't have an answer for that? Because I do.
you on point. And look, if it's nothing else, you on point.
Okay.
Mel? Mel?
I agree.
Was that Nazia's version?
Mm, aside of the ending, it's television. So,
Because that's what I
uh,
would have done if I would have
yeah.
produced it.
You
Come
just
on,
don't
Mel.
end it in the way you want people to see the story in. So I
No,
wouldn't say I didn't necessarily like it. They just ended. They had to have some kind of way to end it, so they ended it with a happy ending.
no. What I'm saying is,
What?
if Nazia came to me to tell the story, I definitely would have purposely. Now, I'm not saying that I would have made his character Caucasian, but then
Hmm.
again, I probably would have.
Okay. So let me
It's
Well,
let
it
me
sets him
let
apart from the others. He's the
well let
bingo,
great
me
white hope.
right.
He's the savior. So if
bingo,
I want to set his character apart from the others that I think are more guilty, how do I
bingo,
make him stand out?
bingo. And
So
remember, I don't mean to cut y'all off, but remember, he got a college degree. He's smart. He's intelligent. So come on, Mel.
so let's just bring that together in context. So just think in the tuba thing, they show him they made him to stand aside from everything, so they made him Caucasian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the podcast is named Mike.
Uh-oh. Now we back to the podcast. You got a point, Mel. You got a point. Could Mike be Nazia?
Mike is Nazir. Oh, okay. In my opinion, Mike is Nazir.
Mm. Mm. Mel?
Yeah, to me, it's pretty evident that is because I mean she was very nonchalant when she said it. She said we just gonna call him Mike because he don't want his name said, so we get it.
Why now? Why all of a sudden now? Nazia is peeping his head up out of the rabbit hole. Why all of a sudden now?
Wait, hold on. He's never been in a rabbit hole.
He
But I
has.
explain. But I
He
explain. But I explain this. Going to a podcast, and remember, the podcaster also said the family advocate wanted us to put this story out. Or something to that effect. She said that. But anyway, let's go back. So he, I mean, I follow him on Instagram, so that's why I say that he's not like hiding anywhere. And he's an Eagles fan, so he it's not like he popped. He's like a consistent, dropping content, but he be on Instagram. I follow him. I see stuff that he like, like content that he likes. So he's not in a hole nowhere. Like the others are. I don't think they have a social media presence, but he does. But when I thought about he went and gave an interview to the podcast, why didn't he give the interview to YouTube? But if you think it would have been hard for him to say, pull up on you on the Rock Squad incognito and give you the story because what would have happened? See, he was able to do that And you know what he didn't have to worry about on that podcast? People in the chat or anybody's chat. So I don't want to take. I don't want any of the people in this chat or Rockstar or anything think that I'm referring to.
Let,
You know what I'm saying?
let me
But he would
Exactly,
have to deal
Ebony.
with that.
let me just slide in.
Go ahead.
Wait, this is Ebony. This is why I don't
Exactly.
believe. This is why I don't believe Mike is Nazir. Wait, I thought Nazir did talk to the FBI, but the podcaster Mike claims to have not spoken to law enforcement.
But see, that's what I said earlier, Shank. So stay right. Look, listen, Ebony, because you know you've been around. Welcome, Ebony. Welcome back. I missed you. But she be on point with stuff. That's what I said. So, and me and Mel talked about this, and you did too, Shank. Are we making the distinction between the FBI and law enforcement? Because remember, Ebony, Nazir's mom told us that Nazir went and spoke to the FBI. But you're right. Through the podcast, Mike is saying, I did not talk to the police.
Right.
So
Because
is
when
he
he
making a
went to the
distinction
police,
between the two?
exactly. Because when he went to the police, they told him to go talk to the FBI. So maybe he didn't talk to the police.
But it
He
don't
didn't.
matter. Well, yeah, I see. I heard you say
But
that
see, that's
earlier,
what I'm
Mel, but
saying.
that don't matter.
But
Because
you
for
have to
him
realize,
to point
Nikki.
out to us that he didn't speak to the police is just him playing games, if that's the case. Because so what that you didn't speak to the police when this is a federal case? If they told you
Right.
go speak to the FBI, well, then damn it, that's who you're supposed to speak to. But your mama told us that you spoke to the FBI, that you
Mm-hmm.
gave a statement. So if you're now telling us you didn't speak to authorities,
Mm-mm.
Mike.
But we keep changing that word. We done changed that word from the police to the FBI to the authorities. You
I'm
see that
asking,
wordplay?
is he
So
using it interchangeably? And somebody have
right.
to
But
correct
you
me.
just you
Did he say police or did he say authority? He certainly didn't say FBI. I'll say that.
I don't
Or
remember.
I'm going to go back. I changed that. I take that back. Because here we
Mm-hmm.
are debating on what he said. But again, we never heard what he said. We're
Mm-mm.
getting this story secondhand, repeated from the podcaster. So he could have used a word that we don't know. She could be using the terms interchangeably. We really just don't know, to be quite honest. We don't know if he said police, authority, FBI. We really don't know because we did not hear him.
I, I, I,
Leslie is correct. Leslie is correct. In his own video, he said the real FBI. He said the real FBI. His mama said he spoke to the FBI. But per this podcast, guys, I'm saying we never heard Mike speak. The podcaster is saying Mike said he never went to the police or he never spoke to the police.
back to the Mike character. I'm leaning more towards Mike being Dejanay's boyfriend. Here's my perspective on Nazir. I doubt if it's Nazir.
You know, make me pull my notes. You're gonna make me pull my notes. Go ahead.
Let's go, Nikki. Let's go, Mel. I just because see with Nazir, Nazir had already done his videos. And when me and Mel be discussing it, we find it, well, I know I find it so funny when he say, now, when all of it come out and y'all see that I wasn't lying, I was telling the truth. I don't want y'all coming back, apologize. And I find
Okay.
that, go, come on, Nikki, come on,
I
come on.
got my notes, Shank. I have my notes. It's
Let me,
not okay. You
go
gotta let
ahead,
me go through it. This is
go ahead.
not Dejanay's boyfriend. He calls himself Mike because he does not want to be named. He never spoke with police about his interactions with Shanquella or the others on October 29th, the day she passed. He was the last to join the group in Mexico. Dejanay's boyfriend did not come to Mexico. He claims he was, let me repeat that. He was the last to join the group in Mexico.
Stay right
there. Go ahead.
You got your notes, so you
got
don't have to worry about forgetting. Stay right there. What'd he say? Now I want everybody to pay close attention. Now, he said that he was the last to get to Mexico, right?
This is what Mike said. I'm repeating what Mike said, not what Nazir said, what Mike said.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, if Mike was Nazir, then that statement alone, everybody gonna know that Mike is Nazir. So he just
exactly. Huh? Yes. Exactly. Yes.
So that's why for me, now I'm with you. It may not be Dejanay's boyfriend. Strong possibility. But even stronger possibility that it ain't Nazir. Because by him saying he's the last one that come, everybody know. Yeah. Then that's Nazir. So that's why for me, come on, Nick.
Listen to what else he said. He arrived at the villa after the altercation took place, but before Shanquella was pronounced deceased. Okay. He also claimed when he got there, she was vomiting. She was disoriented when he arrived at the villa. And according to, I'm not going to say the lady's name, he stayed with her, sat on the couch because he believed she was suffering from alcohol poisoning. So again, all these statements that was given by Mike, that was told to us by the podcaster, lets us know this person arrived in Mexico at the villa. These statements closely mirror what Nazir told us. So either it's another person doing similar things that Nazir did, or damn it, Mike is Nazir.
Let me slide in. You're right, everything that you're saying. But it's almost, and Mel, this is where Mel come into play. Because remember, Mel, Nazir was supposed to have been everybody. They wanted Nazir to be the Uber driver, the delivery boy, the pool boy. They wanted Nazir to be everything. So now it just seems like this Mike is putting all the weight on Nazir. What I'm trying to say, the information, the receipts that you just read, it points straight to Nazir.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying, like I would, okay, let's say.
So I want to answer your question because you asked the important question. Why now? Why would Nazir do this? I have an answer for you. I have an answer for y'all. Y'all not going to like it though, but I have an answer. The answer, Nazir does not believe he's as guilty as the other people. Nazir is hoping to invoke sympathy for his cause. Don't care about the rest of them. He knows that social media is a powerful tool. So Nazir has chose to bring his side of the story to social media. Certainly not to YouTube or the podcasters that he thought has been tearing his little raggedy ass down for the last 2-3 years. But he's trying to invoke sympathy for him because when this goes to court and they are in front of a jury, then he's hoping to sway some people that, hey, I'm not as guilty as the rest of these guys because I came through in the end. So he's trying to try his case in the public.
But Nikki, that would be right because when Nazir got there, they had already called a doctor. So what's his culpability?
Let me say this.
Because what you're saying is that just because he was there in that villa, he got responsibility. But by the time he got there, they had already even called a doctor.
Let me say this real quick before you come in, Nikki. Your perspective of it, I can agree with that. He wants sympathy. Okay, so I can agree with that. Okay, answer Mel, Nikki.
And so, Mel, I've said this on Shank demonstration a few times when the civil suit first came out. I agree and I've said this, and I said people was going to get upset with me, but I do believe that Nazir bears the least amount of culpability. I've always said that. I've always said that they all don't carry the same weight. And to be quite honest, regardless of whether or not you think they're all guilty, because I do think they all bear some burden, I always believe that Nazir has the least culpability when it comes to the Cabo Six. So
You
that
did.
being
You're
said,
right. You
I
said
agree
that.
with you.
But let me ask
Mm-hmm.
you a question. What's his culpability?
It depends on what he knew and when he knew it.
It's already come out. He didn't know anything.
No,
They told him. They
okay,
told
go
him the
ahead.
same story. But I get what you're saying. They told him the same story. The alcohol poison, and the same thing that he said in the very first beginning. He's also said on that podcast. I found out the
And that's
same
based on
day
whether or
everybody
not you
else found
believe
out.
him. Right. So see that's why
So
I'm saying
whether we
he's
believe
coming
him or
out,
not,
he's looking for sympathy for his story. That's based on whether or not you believe him. The idea is this. He bears some culpability. What is his
what
culpability? It depends on when he found out the actual attack occurred. When did he know what they did to her? And you have to agree he left when they all left.
I
But
would.
this is my question.
Oh,
But
oh,
this is my question because she was already passed away. He is not obligated to stay there,
let
regardless of how we feel as individuals. Oh, I would have stayed. Nobody know what they would have done. And this is all I'm saying. And I get what you're saying, but this is my question. I don't want to think about the lie or what if. My question is, what is his culpability?
let me slide in real quick, Nikki. He didn't dispute them not allowing Shanquella to be taken to the hospital. Now, I've always said
Yep.
this about Nazir. I can rock with him because even and because he said some people came in there. We can read between the lines who them people probably was. So I was with him on that. I would have been like, shit, let me do what I gotta do to get the fuck back home.
Yes,
However,
I agree, Shank.
however, he didn't dispute them, Dejanay and them not allowing her to go to the hospital, Mel. He didn't.
How
I
do we
agree
wait?
with you
How
on
do
that
we
too, Shank. I'm with you.
wait? How do we know that? Because they
Nikki,
didn't. Because they didn't take her.
Nikki,
What?
Because
Wait,
we
wait,
have the
hold on, Nikki.
doctor's report that
Mm,
states everything that happened. And she stated repeatedly, she asked them and said she needs to go to the hospital and no one would give her permission. She also stated she called her supervisor and stated this girl needs to go to the hospital. And the
right,
supervisor said, you cannot take her without their permission.
right. So I think, as I listened, that the main culpability on the person to make that decision, because they were in contact with her mom, was Khalil. Nazir came in, and the doctor came in not shortly behind him. So he all the time he still thinks she got alcohol poisoning, but they were looking for Khalil for answers. So the fact that Khalil called Miss Salamandra while Shanquella was still breathing, instead of giving the phone to the doctor to speak to her mother, he kept the communication with Miss Salamandra between them two. When Khalil first made contact with Miss Salamandra, Shanquella was still breathing. He should have gave his phone to her mother if he didn't want to make the decision. But there was a reason why they didn't make that decision. Because they all would have never left Mexico.
let me say this real quick. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, in that type of situation, we would have been like, man, let's say they saying, nah, we don't want her to go to the hospital. Woo, 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 woo. Nazir, let's say I'm Nazir. Nikki, let's say you Nazir. Mel, let's say you Nazir. Wait a minute, what y'all mean? But They said that she need to go to the hospital. No report says one of the friends went against the others. In the report, Nikki, Mel, it stated one of the friends helped administer the IV or the compressions.
Mm-hmm.
So they were very accurate. Now, here's my thing. I gave Nazir flowers for helping with that. So what I'm trying to say is, even though Nazir went along with the program, he still did try. He did.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Nikki?
Mm-hmm.
But this is what Nikki is saying when you're asking, well, what's the whatever word you use, responsibility, whatever you use, Nikki, but you know what I'm saying, and y'all could come in and clean it up. Why is it not reported that at least one of the friends wanted her to go? Why wasn't it reported that one of the friends argued with the others when they refused for her to go to the hospital? You can clean it up for me better, Nikki, because you know.
No, you're right. You on point. So basically, what Miss Salamandra and Sue-Ann is saying is, as the friends there on the trip with her, you guys had the responsibility of care and duty once she became sick. They were all culpable and negligent, and no one spoke up for her when she couldn't speak for herself and said, "Take my friend to the hospital." The doctor could not make the call. The doctor repeatedly kept telling them she need to go to the hospital. They kept saying, "Treat her here, treat her here."
Yeah. So that is going to be, I feel like that part is going to be a very, very interesting part of the testimony, like how how that came about, especially knowing the fact that, well, I felt like I feel like Shanquella was still breathing, still alive when he called Miss Salamandra the first time. But because he called right back really quickly, I think at that point it's probably when she said she knew that she wasn't here anymore. But my question is, why didn't he, knowing her situation, and they called a doctor, and even once the doctor said she needed to go to the hospital, when he called Miss Salamandra, why did he give the phone to the doctor and let her mother give the okay? And the reason being is this: it goes back, Nikki, to when you said where they did call to get her care, but I think that if they knew that if she would have went to that hospital and they assessed her injuries and her condition, they wouldn't have never left Mexico, because the police would have been arresting them like they wasn't going nowhere. So they all would have probably been stuck in the jail in Mexico. You feel me? That's the way I feel
Well,
about
we
that.
know the police arrived on the scene before they all left. And we know this from the civil suit as well, that the police asked them, how did she get these bumps and bruises? And we know Khalil gave the statement that she fell earlier in the pool. So again, this is obstruction of justice. I don't know what Nazir knew and when he knew it, but we do know that they continuously sought to lie and conceal what they did and obstruct justice. So again, it comes down to the original question being, what was Nazir's culpability? It depends on what he knew and when he knew it. But he doesn't escape total culpability because he was there and he left when they all left.
Right.
But
But
again,
but
I think
there's
he's
no
trying to
law.
go
There's
ahead.
no law. And I even checked that that you have to stay with an unalive body.
And I'm not
There's no
saying that, Mel, because I
right.
absolutely
But
agree
so
with
that
Shank. In
right.
his
But that
case,
would
if I was
be
Nazir, I would have left. But we wouldn't have left. We can all honestly say we wouldn't have left
I
because
wouldn't
we
say
can
that.
all
Wait.
honestly say
I
we
wouldn't
wouldn't
say
have beat
that.
up our friend. Well, we wouldn't have
Right,
beat
but
up
I
our
wouldn't
friend.
Right, but I wouldn't say in his position that I
That's
would
what I
have left.
said.
I
That's
would
what I
have left.
said. That's what I said. If we was Nazia, I would have given the situation because I wouldn't have known what the hell was going on. If I
Right.
take for what he is saying to be the truth and he really didn't know, I would have got the hell out of there when they got out of there because I'm not going to be left here holding the bag and I don't know what's going on. If I was Nazia and if his story was true and if he really did not know what happened, I would have left if I was him. But honestly, as we all look at this and, the next morning, we're all saying, I wouldn't have left. Well, we can say we wouldn't have left because we wouldn't have never put ourselves in this situation to begin with. But you're right. If we was Nazia, yeah, I honestly not going to sit here and say, I don't see why Nazia left. No, I understand absolutely why he left.
Yeah.
Marty said she wouldn't leave me. Marty, if your ass had left me, I'm haunting you anyway.
If she'd have left, you wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't know. I would haunt her. Because right, Mel, I'd be gone.
Like I said, we give Nazia certain things. We do. But the mere fact that, because according to him, he wasn't going for it up until, he had to get up out of there. But he was present, according to him. He was present. They made reference. One of the friends did help. So when it came time to her going to the hospital, why you didn't say, hold up, y'all, she gotta go. And then if they bucked on them or something, then it'd be like, you know what, fuck it. But your first reflex or your reflex is to care about, and that was something simple, getting her to the hospital. That's an easy buck. You know what I mean, Nikki? Now fuck that shit. She going to the motherfucking hospital.
Yeah.
Now, if they would have started, getting on him, whatever, and then he seen he was outnumbered, okay. But Nikki, your first instinct, Mel, your first instinct. Didn't y'all hear what didn't y'all hear what the nurse said? We got to get her to the hospital.
Because let's not forget, Shank. See, come on now. Let's not forget when Nazia first came out with his story. Remember, I said, because you was like, they expected him to be the Uber driver, the cleanup man, the this, the that. And I said, why did they expect him to do that? Because he put that cape on himself, Shank. He was
Right.
the one who said, if I was there, they wouldn't have did this, that, and the third,
Right.
because I was the one who knew her the longest. And if I was there, I'd have put a stop to all this shit. I'd have did this and I'd have did that and blah, blah, blah. Guess
It
what
was
you
just like
didn't do,
him.
Nazia?
Right.
Guess what you didn't do? You didn't insist that they take her or they send her to the hospital. So I'm saying with all the things that Nazia told us he wouldn't have allowed and he wouldn't have let them do, he's now coming forward and he's throwing a monkey wrench in his own program. You're saying Dejanay called you. You're saying you talked her down, but you're also implicating yourself in not doing enough to save her. I think he should have kept quiet. You didn't make anybody look good. I know you're scared. I know you're looking for sympathy, but all you did is show you didn't do as much as you should have done, as the civil suit stated, and you gave Dejanay a motive.
And he did. He did take up for them once he got back.
Absolutely.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. He did take up for him once he got back on U.S. soil. Now you back. Pop your shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
All that is, I mean, all that, those are very, very valid points when it comes to the his actual actions um, because at the end of the day, I mean, you can really see it two different ways. As he was thinking that because he was the last one to come and he really didn't know what was going on, he's still banking on alcohol poisoning. So he think, well, if they say she should be treated here with alcohol poisoning, okay. But at the same token, you did notice the bump on her head and the but and whatever was wrong with her eye. So if they telling the doctor she fell from whatever, you know, the doctor just the doctor assessment, um, the, just from the doctor's assessment, it was obvious that she didn't want to do too much because she didn't want to injure or upset anything else because she don't know the situation. But I'm quite sure she saw something deeper than alcohol poisoning when it comes to the doctor, and that's how I feel about it.
And
Mm.
somebody in the chat said it, like, I think Ebony said it. And of course, Mexico, I'm sure, is different from the United States. And I always wonder, how were they able to escape Mexican authorities? Was it, and we know
Because
when
in
you,
the United States, you would have been down at the damn police station giving your statement because they're gonna have it on video and they're gonna be writing it down. They're gonna be having y'all in separate rooms and asking y'all questions. You feel what I'm saying?
yes, ma'am.
And that was the difference between them and Mexico. Mexico just like, okay, just our report and we out. So yeah, they didn't say, okay, you can't leave. You got to remain here. They never, none of that, as far as we know, was in the conversation. So they didn't
I,
escape. They just left.
I disagree, Mel. And
Okay.
almost all of you in the chat may have known or have experienced this or know somebody who has. In the United States, when a crime is committed, and we're going to say an unaliving, and there is a suspect, if they don't have enough evidence to hold you, they release you. They can only hold you for 72 hours without charging you. So a lot of times, and you guys know, once I said I'm correct, they will release a suspect because they don't have enough evidence to charge them right there. They question you, and people will say, well, why they let them go? They let them go because they don't have enough evidence to hold them yet. Now, will they go back and charge that person or arrest them? Yeah, sometimes that person flees to another state. We see that happen all the time. In this case, these people fled the country. So what happened in Mexico is the same thing that happens here a lot. They got lucky. They were able to give a story that satisfied the police long enough for them to escape Mexico. It happens in the United States, but what tends to happen is the authorities can go back and get a warrant and get these people. When Mexico filed their warrant, the United States isn't cooperating.
Right. But I think what I was saying mostly is like, when if something like that would occur in the United States, even with those same um, answers that they were given, that questioning would have happened at the police station. Then they let you go from the police station, but they're not going to question you on the scene and then leave. It's and I would think that, and especially if you're from another country. So, but I guess even I think that they don't have maybe their police station don't not set up like that. I don't know.
Now let me slide in because I'm right there with Ebony. Now, the nurse, the doctors come in. They're there for alcohol poisoning. But they see Shanquella and they see the bruises and everything. Even after the doctor or nurse, was it the doctor or the nurse that said to Dejanay and them, she needs to go to the hospital. Was it the doctor or the nurse?
She's a doctor.
Okay.
I think people are using the terms interchangeably, but she's a doctor.
Okay. So now you have this doctor. Now, and maybe I'm confusing common sense with the law, because common sense, because remember, Mexican police was there, because the police got there first. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nikki O'Mel. The police got there first, right?
I don't know if the police first before who? Before the doctor or before the EMS?
Before the
No, I don't think the doctor. I don't think the police arrived before the doctors, because she was not deceased yet. So it would have been no reason for the police to arrive first.
Okay. So let me backtrack then. My thing
Keep
is,
this in mind when you backtrack, Shank. The police showed up after the 911 call.
and when did the 911? When did the 911 call go in at 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when the 911 call went out, the police arrived with the EMS. But then they called the other guy. Remember when Nazir said then they had to wait for the big guy to get there? He was more like, in the United States, we would call him a prosecutor or a detective. I would say more of a detective. They was waiting for that person to come.
But why would a prosecutor show up? Same way like when with the police. Why would a prosecutor show up if a crime hadn't been committed?
Well, it was based off what they saw. Regardless of what they were telling them about alcohol poisoning, they saw something else. So they called the people the police that arrived with the EMS. They called him. That's who when Nazir said they had to wait for the big man to come, that's who they was waiting for.
So my answer to that is, whenever a death occurs, the police always arrive. That's the first thing. Whether it's homicide, natural or not, the police always arrive, because it could be something criminal or suspicious. So the police always arrive. And two, when it's someone from out of the country, so a U.S. national or any other country, that's why those municipal police arrive as well. And I don't know who he's calling the big man, so I'm going to just repeat him and say the big man, because it was for someone that was out of the country.
I didn't get him saying the big man came was a prosecutor or something like that. I took it for something different when he said the big man came through.
But he didn't know who it was.
He knew who.
Somebody.
Okay.
It was somebody over the police that arrived with the EMS. So it was somebody else, which I would say in America it may be more equivalent to not to a prosecutor or a detective.
Now listen. Now, the way how he put it, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, so I'm going to be careful. But the way how he put it was, them people.
That's what we were all speculating until I read the name of that person, because they mentioned his name, but he was different from the actual what do you call it? The prosecutor.
So stay right there, Mel. Stay right there. If that's the case, then what am I scared for? If here's me and Nikki, I need you to come in and agree or not. But if I'm in that situation and them people come in, even if I'm on U.S. soil, and them people come in, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm like, okay, Shank Rock, your funky ass better act right, to get out of this situation. Because them people right there. Now, if them people is on the law on that side, what the hell am I scared for? They ain't gonna do nothing to me.
Right, but now you're scared because you, they telling you alcohol poisoning, but I think it's what they visually saw on the condition of Shanquella's body.
But what I'm saying, I'm focusing on them people. I'm focusing
Right,
on
so
the big man, the big person that Nazia made reference to.
and
I
I'm telling you, that's the man that they mentioned in the report. He's like I would say that's why I say an equivalent of the United States. He's probably a detective. I
but
don't
what,
I don't
so what was he scared for? What was he
I
intimidated
just
for?
Shay.
I got an answer for you,
I
Shank,
just
and it ain't
right.
none of that.
But because none of us really know. But I'm assuming calling that person, he's probably getting scared, beginning to think that it's more to the story, like we all did. But now I'm not there. I came in on this, but I don't even know what's going on. And now they calling somebody else. Of course, yeah, I think there was a fear level there. I would have had a
Nikki,
fear level.
because
I'm getting ready to tell you what it is. From the psychological perspective, it didn't matter if Superman or whoever was standing in that goddamn room. I'm telling you what it is. It's the other Cabo 6 members pumped him up. They put the fear of, if you stay here, your black ass is going to get detained. You going to jail. You see what happened to Brittany Griner. You see XYZ. You don't want to get stuck in Mexico. It was the pack mentality again coming into play. It was 5 against him, convincing him we got to get the hell out of here. Now you stay here if you want, but we leaving, Negro. And if you stuck left behind holding the ball, we can't help you. So I don't care who was in that room. When they told him we leaving because we might get fingered for something we didn't do, because it doesn't matter that we know they did it. If they still telling him we didn't do it, he's going along with the program. They pumping him up. They still lying. They tell him we got to get the hell out of here. You stay if you want, but we leaving.
Right, same thing. It's the same thing about why he left. It's the
It
same
don't
thing.
matter who the big man
Just
was in the
worded
room.
differently.
That man was not going to protect him. His
Right.
friends convinced him, we got to get the hell out of here.
It's a lot, but again,
It's that same analogy, Shank, when we all out in the street, we see one black person run, we all run. God damn it, I'm going to ask questions later.
oh,
When
man,
I meet up with you 5 blocks down the
oh,
street, I'll
man,
ask you what happened, what you
oh,
see.
man, oh, man.
But I'm running first.
The big baddest one out of the bunch. He running first. The toughest out of the bunch.
Yep.
We all running.
We
but
running. I'm going to ask you questions later. Once I'm free, once I'm home base.
He wouldn't have let the fight happen, knowing that there were 2 other men there. If he was there, he wouldn't have let them fight. I think that's probably what he was alluding to. That if he was there, he wouldn't have let the fight happen. That
I
I'm not
concur,
saying that
Mel.
is.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I concur that that's what he was saying. Yeah, I can agree to that.
Y'all know where I'm going at, right?
With your memory, no.
I knew she was going to say that.
I set myself up for that one, huh? Y'all know where I'm going at?
Mm-mm.
You're probably looking for his video, yeah?
Yep. Yep.
I agree with you, Ebony, but Khalil was just as culpable. Khalil helped plan that fight. He just didn't know it was going to turn left. He was behind Dejanay. getting her rocks off and fighting Shanquella. He really was. He agreed. I ain't buying that he wasn't in the room. He was on the beach mess. But to me, he's the worst of the bunch, other than Dejanay. He's the
I'm gonna
worst.
be on the beach because I ain't stopping it.
So y'all think he was in the room?
Khalil, I do.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There were either five people in the room, but when they said four, at some point, did they ever count Shanquella as being a person in the room because she was in the room? That's what I was. That remember I was telling you that I was trying to figure that out. Were they counting her as a person in the room? Then it would have been five people in the room. But if they said it was four people in the room, were they counting her?
I don't who's I don't I'm okay, so forgive me. I'm not sure if you're saying who said it was 4 people in the room.
Y'all still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if Mel heard me.
Yeah.
I always thought they were all in the room. I mean, to be quite honest, other than Nazir at the time of the attack, I do believe he came later. But everyone else, I always thought they were all in the room.
Okay. So they weren't counting her. That makes sense.
As I seen in the post before this, it take 3 hours to get the cap. Meanwhile, all this stuff happened on Friday. I don't know nothing of it. As I seen in the post before this, it take 3 hours to get the cap off. Meanwhile, all this stuff happened on Friday. I don't know nothing of it. Don't know nothing about it. Don't know why it happened. Boom. So I'm thinking I'm going to turn up. My birthday was the last week, October 22nd. Y'all can see that because I've been on my page. So I'm like, let me extend my birthday and I'm going to go to this trip. Because I got asked to go on the trip in June, but I didn't reply because I didn't know what I was doing for my birthday since the next birthday was the next week after mine. So, um, where I was at? Oh, yes, I left on Saturday. The trip was from Friday to Monday, October 28th, 29th, 30th. 31st going home. Didn't even make it there. So I get off my flight around like 2:16 Mexico time. I guess we 2 hours ahead. 2:16 p.m. I make a phone call. To everybody who were there. Like I need the address. So when during this phone call, that's the first time I heard that Kula wasn't feeling good. Um, they told me that Kula was sick and she was showing signs of alcohol poisoning. They got it because one of their friends told them that they were seeing signs. So she was showing symptoms of alcohol poisoning. But I didn't know it was a fight. Hold on. I got my Bible. And I'm gonna put this blunt down because I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie on that. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not saving nobody's ass. I'm not protecting my ass. I'm just coming here to keep it real because y'all in my DMs going crazy.
Now, I want y'all to pay attention to what he just said. He said that he's not trying to save nobody's ass, right? Now, why didn't he mention the 3 a.m. phone call that he received from Dejanay Jackson if Nazia is Mike?
And that's the point I was trying to make about new evidence coming out. That was something new. But new to who? Because we didn't hear that in that had he said it to anybody else. If he hadn't, if that wasn't in his original statement that he made to the Alphabet Gang, then that would be new evidence, right? That's the only question that I have. That's what I was saying about new evidence coming out.
So my position on that is we don't know if it's new evidence because we don't know who he gave his statement to. We don't know what's in his statement. It's new
Exactly.
information to us, but it might
Exactly.
not be new information to the
Exactly.
investigators.
That's what
So
I said.
right. So we don't know if this new information, whereas though the FBI may deem it necessary to open the case because they may already have that information, Shane, about the 3 a.m. phone call. It may
Right. That's
just
what
be
I'm
new
saying.
to us. Right. No,
New to
I
us.
agree with you, Mel. I'm just explaining why we may just be hearing it. It may not be new information to the FBI. It may be
Stop right
something they
there.
already knew.
Stop right there. The FBI is not the one that put this out on the podcast. So I get what you're saying. Maybe he did say something to the FBI. Maybe he did say something about the 3 a.m. phone call to somebody. Maybe he did. However, it's not in them videos that he done. However, why all of a sudden now? See, here's my issue with Mike. It's clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, that Mike is alluding to himself as being Nazia. Can we all agree with that?
Yeah.
Mel?
Yes.
So why now? The 3 a.m. phone call from Dejanay to him. Why all of a sudden now?
Well, I got an answer for you. I always got an answer for you. The answer is simple. Why didn't Nazir mention the 3 a.m. phone call in his video, the video you was just playing? Because at that time, that 3 a.m. phone call wasn't relevant. They weren't being sued. They certainly wasn't facing criminal charges. So he was just trying to save himself again from the speculation. He's saying everybody in my DMs, they in his DMs about y'all unalive that girl, this, that, whatever. So he's
Cuzzo,
addressing.
Cuzzo,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I ain't buying it. But
No, but let
continue.
me finish. Let me
Go
finish
ahead.
though. But
Go
look, but
ahead.
he's addressing what was going on then. Okay. We can't say, for instance, whether or not he actually told the investigators about the 3 a.m. phone call. But again, at that point, the criminal charges, they weren't on him. Certainly wasn't no civil charges on him. And now your question is why now? Why now is because he's trying to save himself from being sued for $100,000, $200,000. So now, again, he's trying to evoke sympathy. And so he's releasing all the information he can to let us know. Y'all don't understand. I didn't know.
Stay right there. What else came about the 3 a.m. phone call? Did he get into detail? I don't think he got into detail from the podcast. Maybe I missed it. He didn't get into detail. Only thing he spoke on of the phone call at 3 a.m. was that Dejanay wanted Shanquella to leave, or she didn't want Shanquella there, correct?
Right. That's the only thing we heard different. One was that Dejanay called him, complained to him about Shanquella, and that she wanted Shanquella to leave. And that, because we can't forget this important point where he puts himself in the hero status again. I talked her down. I convinced her to let that shit go. See, he's always painting himself in this light of, look, I talked her down. I convinced her to let it go. I thought it was all handled. You can't overlook where he puts himself in a good light to say, look, I handled this. I thought I took care of things. So you're right. That's the newest information that we received that we didn't know from his video. But again, he's painting himself in this picture of, I thought I handled it. I thought I took care of it. She was good when I finished talking to her. When I left her, we were good. She wasn't going to go fight Shanquella.
So I'm quite sure somewhere in the back of his mind, he probably was wondering, well, what could have transpired after that conversation that prompted her to then go and say, well, I'm a fighter.
Let me slide in. Let me slide in. He's trying to save himself. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
agreement. I'm in agreement. But I'm trying to figure out this. Only thing new that I've gotten out of that, let me just speak for me. The only thing that's new that I've gotten out of that is Dejanay called Mike, whom many believe is Nazia, at 3 a.m. That was the only new thing that came out of it for me. Now, why not? Because now he got on the Superman cape again, and he's trying to get people to feel sorry for him. Why not go hard in the paint? And because if you, it's like this: you coming for me, but you half stepping. You coming for
Mm-hmm.
me. I'm coming. You get where I'm coming from, Nikki? I'm coming for
Mm-hmm.
you, but I'm playing with you.
Yeah.
You gonna be like Shank. You should have went all the way, and you should have dumped everything out about me. So that's what I'm saying. All right, nigga, she hit you at 3 a.m. in the morning. All right, well, nigga, what she say? She just said that she ain't want Shanquella there. All right, nigga, what else? Here comes the hood detective. All right, nigga, did she, tell you that she was gonna bust her in the head with a bottle? Cause now you got my attention. So
Right.
all right, nigga, come on, spill it.
Because you guys, the Rock Squad, y'all pointed this out way back when, that he was half stepping, Shank, that he was not telling the whole story, that he was giving us bits and pieces that come with it. Come with it. Come with it all. Tell us everything. Why are you protecting them? Y'all always said that. Y'all always pointed that out. And I have to agree with you here. He's still doing the same thing. See, it's almost as if he's scared. He wants to protect himself, but it's almost as if he's holding back, not giving everything he knows about everything else that happened. And it could be as if Mel is saying he doesn't know everything. He doesn't know what else happened. That could be true, Mel. But it almost seems like he know a little bit more, because every time he hit the limelight, he give us a little bit more breadcrumbs, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. He dangling them in front of us. Here, let me throw a little bit more out. It's bigger than what y'all think. It was behind some nigga. Now she called at 3 a.m. He never told the whole story all at once. So I have to agree with you, Shank.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think, you know, especially now with the legalities behind it, that's been the thing with Nazir from the very first beginning. Whether he knew everything or not, that it's just been everybody's expectation.
Mel,
What?
I'm with you. It's because of you that I backtracked Nazia's video. It's because of you that I said, damn, I was wrong about Nazia. Got you. But fast forward to this Mike character. I ain't buying it. I get Nikki laid out a hell of a perspective. He wants people to feel sorry for him again. But
I never felt sorry for him. I just
no, 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 no,
believed
no,
it.
no, 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 not you, not you. I'm just saying
Oh.
Nikki's perspective when I ask the question. Nikki's perspective. But I'm on this Mike character. Who is this Mike?
Well, you have to listen to the podcast and the way she introduced him.
I
She
did,
said
but go
wait,
ahead.
listen. She never said that he said his name was Mike. She said we
Let's
will
call
call
him
him
Mike.
Mike. We will call him Mike, or I will call him Mike, because he does not want his. He doesn't. I can't
He don't
remember how
want to
she
be
said.
named.
He don't
You
want to be
you
named, but
you you
he didn't say he was Mike.
listen to
She
me.
said
You
that's who she was gonna call him.
listen to me. You charging me with theft over 300, but you ain't got the jewelry. You playing with me. I, you get me, Nikki?
Yes.
You playing with me. Stop playing with. I
Oh,
look.
I get. Oh, I get it. If he says if he would have gave him permission to say his name is Mike, then you would probably see things a
Come,
little different.
yeah, stop playing with
But he
me.
never told her to call him Mike. She
Me-
decided to call
Mel,
him that.
Mel,
What?
Mel. You've been down that road when you had to tell somebody, stop playing with me. Nikki, you've been down that road when you had to tell somebody, stop playing with me. Whether it's they playing on your intelligence, regardless of what. Nikki, stop playing with me.
Right.
Come on. Stop playing. I ain't going. Stop playing with me.
But
Mel,
this
stop
is
playing.
Shay. But this is what I'm saying. And just listen to me for a moment. He didn't. To me, I think they reached out to him for an interview. To be honest with you, and he probably got paid. I think they reached out to him for an interview, and he said, and she said because he don't wish to be named, I'm gonna call him Mike. But also, you have to remember, she also said he told the interviewer other things, but she did not want to repeat them because she was not able to validate it. Which meaning, in all the information that we have, and through probably her conversations with whoever the family advocate is, she wasn't able to confirm what he was saying, so she was not going to mention it. And a good reporter, that would always be their angle. They're not going to
Okay.
repeat stuff they
Question,
can't
Mel.
fact check. What?
Question then.
Hmm.
Why did she tell us any of what she told us then?
Because she's a podcaster, Nikki. Come on now, come on now. She's a podcaster. That was a
No, and
challenge
and
for
and
her.
and listen and hear what I'm
Nikki, you
saying.
can't.
So
Nikki,
there were some things that Nazir told her that she said, I can't validate it, so I'm not going to put it out there.
absolutely, that's
I
what she
got you.
said.
So what the things that she did tell us, is she saying she was able to validate it from
Nikki,
who? That was
Nikki,
Nazir?
Nikki, listen. The only thing that she really said, if you heard the podcast, the only thing that she really said was that he said Dejanay called him at 3 o'clock in the morning. Everything else she said was stuff that we already knew.
No, I was going to say, no, that's not true. She said everything I read. She said, because I wrote it.
But
I wrote it all down.
right, you did write it down. What I'm saying is that the only thing that she said that was different was that Dejanay called him at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, that's his story. He can tell it. But anything else he told her that may have been about other people, because she couldn't validate it, she was not going to repeat it. But the rest of that commentary, I listened to it all the way through. It was only about stuff we already knew.
So my question is, Mel, exactly right. I'm right there with you. So are you saying that the things she told us she was able to validate? And how was she
No,
able to
Nikki.
validate them? The same
Okay,
way we
Nikki.
did because we listened to Nazia?
Nikki, listen, Nikki. You're thinking too deep into it. Listen. The only thing that she said that was different than what we already knew was that he said that Dejanay called him at 3 o'clock in the morning, saying that she wanted Shanquella to go home because Shanquella was getting on her nerve and whatever, if you wrote that down. But after that statement, she said he did share other things with the interviewer. She didn't even present herself as an interviewer. She said there were other things he told the interviewer, but because she wasn't able to validate it, she was not going to mention it. So the rest of her podcast was only about telling the story of what we already knew. She didn't say anything different than what we already knew,
I'm
but
not
that.
saying she said much different.
But you're
I'm
but you're
saying how,
asking me,
no, no,
so
no. Go ahead.
Nikki,
Go ahead.
listen. You have to listen because you're thinking too deep in it. If you listen to the whole 52 or 53 minutes, I think it was,
I
podcast,
did. Mm-hmm.
if you notice, she only just was telling the story of stuff we already knew. The only thing that she said different that we didn't know was that Dejanay called him at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was the only thing that she said different. She said
Okay, so Mel
she
and Shank,
said,
listen.
wait, listen, Nikki, stop. Don't do that. She said he shared other things with the interviewer, but because I can't validate that, I'm not going to mention it. And then the rest of the demonstration, the rest of her podcast was just about stuff we already knew. It was nothing different. It was about
Before
You
you,
her.
keep saying it's about stuff we already knew. I'm saying,
Exactly.
obviously, if you're saying it's about stuff we already knew, and she's saying I'm not going to share what I can't validate,
But
then the
you,
thing
yeah.
she, wait a minute, let me finish, Mel. I let you
Mm-hmm.
finish. If she's saying I'm not going to share the things I can't validate, and she's willing to share all the things I read off, what you saying is what he's already said, then that means that she believes that's Nazir and that was validated. That's my
Can,
point.
can I tell you something, Nikki? You are absolutely correct. She said,
So
I'm
then
just,
that brings
this
me
is,
back to what
Nikki,
Shank is saying. How do we know
the
what
only
else was
thing,
said? So that means
because,
she's accepting that this is Nazir also. Because if
but what,
she's validating what she told us is what we
Nikki,
heard from Nazir.
and
Nikki,
please
she was
oh, oh,
repeating everything else that's been on all podcasts and whatever. This is, you got
let's.
to,
I'm gonna forget Mel.
I ain't gonna let you forget.
Listen to what she did put out there. The 3 a.m. phone call from Dejanay to Nazir. Where did she get that from? No
She got,
platform.
okay,
Oh,
listen,
oh,
y'all still thinking too deep into it. You have to really take your time and listen. Just
Mel,
listen. Wait, Shay, don't do that, please. I'm just telling y'all, y'all thinking too much into it. She said, I'm just gonna call him Mike, because he don't want to mention his name. But she already knew who she was. I can tell she knew who she was talking to. She knew who she was talking to. But because she said he didn't want to be named, I'm just gonna call him Mike. That's what she said. But what I'm saying is this: she was only doing commentary on information that's already out there. How is it validated? It was just the stuff that we've already been talking about, and the stuff from the redacted FBI. She's only talking about that.
listen
I
though.
listen, and Nikki, if you think about it, if you listen to the whole podcast, you would have had notes through there on stuff that you didn't know. The reason
No,
why you
I
only
did
wrote the
listen to
note,
the whole thing. No, go ahead,
right? But
Mel.
Nikki,
I'm gonna
okay,
let you finish. I don't. I
okay,
think you're making a point that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she called him
right,
Mike, John, or Pig. It doesn't
Nikki,
matter what she called him.
right.
But go
But
ahead.
this is what I'm saying. The things that he told her, which I don't know, because she never said. She said he told me other things, but because I can't validate it, which means she had never heard it. Now, when it comes to him saying that Dejanay called him, she can say that because Dejanay called him. So that means that leads me to believe that he told her stuff about other people, not
This is
him,
what this
other
is what I'm
people.
this is what I'm saying. Where, who, how could she couldn't validate other things that were said,
What
but
the other things that she said? Okay,
Mel,
if
Mel,
y'all listen to the
Mel,
podcast, y'all knew what she said. I'm just gonna leave it right there because this don't
Mel,
make sense.
Mel, I'm with you. I'm with you. But what I'm saying is this: the 3 a.m. phone call from Dejanay to him. I never said it over here. No rock
But
squad,
that's
Mel.
it,
Oh,
right?
Mel,
But
Mel,
that's his
Mel,
story.
Mel, please, please. Nobody over here has made mention of that. No other platform has ever made mention of that. It's not in none of it's not in none of Nazaya's video. It's not on Street Legal. It's nowhere to be found. It's not in no file. Nobody have heard that. So how did she validate? Hold up, Mel. How did she validate that? But that was put out there. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I'm gonna just keep it 100 with y'all. Whatever he told her, she didn't feel comfortable repeating it. We don't know what it is or who it was about, but whatever it was, she did not feel comfortable repeating it. She said that. So we can't hold him responsible for that. That's her decision. Wherever else he told her, she did not feel comfortable repeating. So we'll put it that way. We won't put it on whether or not she can validate it because that's what she said. Maybe she didn't feel comfortable reporting it. She didn't feel comfortable putting that out there, and you have to respect that. Some and which I'm just saying, we about
You going out,
additional
Mel. You
information.
going out, Mel.
All right, the other additional information that he told her, she didn't feel comfortable putting it out. So you can't hold him responsible for that. She didn't feel comfortable putting it out. So look at it that way. Because we shouldn't be at odds about it. But that's
No,
what
we're
she
not at
said.
odds. We're not
Right,
at
but I was
odds
just
about
trying
it.
to get y'all. I understood y'all point by saying he playing with us. If he did tell her additional stuff, but she didn't feel comfortable putting it out. But she did say that the family advocate asked her to put that out, just the whole podcast. But whatever else he said, she didn't feel comfortable repeating it out. So you can't hold him responsible for that. But there's a reason for everything. And I think that's the biggest point that I'm trying to make. Everything is a reason. It's a reason for everything. It's a reason why we know what we know, and it's a reason why we don't know what we want to know. This takes you back to Linda Brown. Remember, I was talking to you about her case? Those police officers ain't let no information out. They got a lot, but they
Mel,
got to have all their eggs in the basket before they make their move. They're not telling nothing.
Mel,
But
you know we
I think that Suan was respecting the people that really was going to bat for Shanquella, and so she shared things. But even Suan shared just enough, but not too much. That was going to ruin her case. Period.
Mel, Mel,
Yes, sir.
you know we agreed off
Mhm.
the record. You know we agree on the record. You know we
Mhm.
rumble. We're gonna rumble
Mhm.
tomorrow. We gonna rumble tomorrow. I'm just letting
Yeah,
you know. Get
we gonna
ready for
rumble it
a
today.
rumble tomorrow on the phone. Let me let Nikki come in because we gonna rumble about this, Mel. Come on in,
Yeah.
Nikki.
I have officially, February 1st, 2026, have started to drink alcohol. I do not drink. I'm taking my first goddamn drink. Thank you, Mel. That's all I gotta say right now.
I'm a killer. I'm gonna
let,
get her. I'm gonna
let
get her.
Marty, let a new voice, let somebody new come in because
Wait,
maybe Marty can.
wait,
Marty, come
Shay,
on in, Marty.
wait, Shay, listen. Oh Lord. Hey,
Jackie,
Marty.
I was gonna come up here and I was gonna be very nice. Hey Shank, hey Mel, hey my Nick.
Hey,
I
Marty.
Hey,
if you
Marty.
say drinking in 2026, oh yeah, Mel done got up under yo that hip that I'm joined to. But
Oh, God.
I've been sitting here and I've been listening, I've been listening. And Mel, so but just hear me out first before you answer because I'm not connecting something, so I don't know if it's me or if it's not delivered right. and I couldn't type what I wanted to say in the chat. But I listened to that person's um, podcast as well. I listened to everything, and everything that you and Nikki and Shank is saying has been correct. The only thing that was different was that 3 a.m. call. But I can't understand why you can't understand if the lady said that Nazir had told her things that she could not corroborate, substantiate, validate. If she didn't say those things because she couldn't, I just want to know this phone call at 3 o'clock. Who did she corroborate with, validate with, substantiate with? That's the only reason I came up here.
The person that was on the call. See, remember,
So,
that's his, wait, that's his story. He said that about his conversation with Dejanay. That's his story. That's so she can't could the only thing that could further collaborate that or substantiate that would be phone records. So that is
okay,
his story. But
period. Okay, right
whatever else he told
put a
her,
period right there,
she
Mel,
don't
because I
feel
don't want you to
comfortable.
lose your thought. Put a period right there. What you just said
Hmm.
contradicted everything that y'all been talking about this three
No, it
o'clock
doesn't,
call.
Marty. No,
Listen,
it
and
doesn't, Marty.
it
Mm-mm.
does, Mel. It does, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Go
I'm
ahead,
gonna tell
girl.
you. You just say that she told him other things. If he was telling her these things and he was talking to her, you said it came from him. Why she didn't say that? If she mentioned, because he said the 3 a.m. call, but he also said other things and it came from him, why couldn't she repeat it?
Because it came from him. Again,
But
Marty,
that
it's simple.
3 a.m. came
Marty,
from him. But no, I'm gonna
it's.
did the 3 a.m. did the 3 a.m. come from supposedly Nazir? Yes or no?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Did the 3 a.m. call that Nazir said, did that come from him? Yes or no?
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
So
and,
wait.
hold on,
Y'all making this more difficult. Y'all making it
Mel.
more difficult. You're making it more difficult.
No,
Okay.
I'm
Say for
just asking
instance.
the question. No,
Say
Let me
well
connect.
because I do know a lot. Say for
Yeah, let
instance.
me. I'm not questioning whether you know. I just
But
want
don't
you
do.
to answer the question.
I just answered you, but you're not listening.
No, you
Don't
didn't.
me because I'm not your
Mel,
kid.
it's a
I'm not your
Mel.
kid. That's hold that back. I'm not your kid. So don't
Mel.
me. Don't ask me
Well,
a
see,
question and wait for my answer. Say
Mel, you
don't do
didn't let
that.
me. Mel, you didn't let me finish the
Okay,
question.
finish your question because you told me to answer it.
No, you didn't let me finish.
Okay,
So
finish your question.
my
Finish your
total
question.
and I'm not being disrespectful to you, and I've never brought up your kids. I never said you were my kid. But my question was if she didn't put out the other stuff that she said Mike, Nazir, whoever was the author of those same things that she didn't want to put out, but yet she put out the 3 a.m. Is it he, the author of the 3 a.m. call? Is he not the author of the 3 a.m. call and the author of everything that she said she wouldn't put out because she couldn't validate it? If he's the author of it, that's validation right there.
But if the if
But do
he
you
had a
understand what I'm saying?
get you okay. I'm sorry. I thought you had finished the question. So
No, I'm just saying. So
but you
that's
won't let me answer the question. But go ahead.
no, I'm done. Go ahead.
So again, if I call Shank and I tell Shank, I was like, listen, Shank, or if I call Nikki, or if I call you, and I tell you something about me, right? About me, I am the I am the author of what I told you about me. Because you can validate that because I told you that, right? It-
Mhm.
Just yes or no. You can
Uh-huh.
validate what I told you about me, not what I told you about Nikki, or not what I told you about anybody else. You can validate what I told you about me, right?
Correct.
So if he said, I had a conversation with Dejanay at 3 o'clock in the morning, he is talking about him. If I can
Exactly.
give you details of what I spoke about with Dejanay, that's his story, right? That's his
Correct.
story. But if he tells you her something about somebody else, that's not his story.
Okay, I get you on that, but I
He's
thought
telling pretty much. I'm just saying he's telling. It's just like when you be in court, and if you mention, like, say for instance, the prosecutor, the whoever's questioning somebody, if they begin to include somebody else in their response, the first thing they say is objection. What is it called? Hearsay. Hearsay. That's what it's called. Hearsay. Objection. Hearsay. Because now I told you something that somebody told me about this, but in a court of law, and I didn't watch them for any trials. When they say
me.
objection, hearsay, the judge gonna say, well, I don't know if it's sustained or overruled. You can't say what somebody else said. And the perfect example of that was when when they were questioning Shannon in the Naziah Harris case, and Jarvis'
Can we?
attorney kept saying objection because when they asked her a question, she was always putting that the kid said my grandmama said, and they say objection, hearsay.
No, I agree. We all know what he
Right. So
said.
that's the
I
same thing. Which so that's what this Marty. It's not this difficult, and it don't have to go this way. She did not feel comfortable repeating what he said about somebody else. Period.
okay.
So that's
Oh,
what it
oh,
is. I'm off of it. I'm not talking about it no more. That's all I'm
no,
saying. She didn't feel comfortable repeating what he said about somebody else, and I'm gonna leave it right there.
I got you. I got you. That's why I came up here for clarification. Because in you all's conversation, you said that she was talking to this person and the person said she couldn't validate it. You never stated that, oh, Nazir said X, Y, and Z said this. That's see, and that's what the whole thing is. Communicate.
But we all heard the same. But we
No,
all heard the same podcast. So why is it coming back on me to explain it? We all heard the same podcast. If you heard the podcast, that's what she said. If you heard that, I shouldn't even have to even bring this up, because if you heard the whole thing, she said he told me other things that I don't want to repeat because I can't validate it, because it wasn't
right.
specifically about him. We all heard that. So why are we here?
Because of people's wording and words matter. And
But those were her words.
you, just
So
like you,
you're correct, Marty and Mel. Can I just explain? Because I'm with Marty, and that's where I think me and Shank was at in the beginning. I
I'm
never
gonna be
got the
honest.
distinction that she
You
was saying she wasn't able to validate his statements
Let me ask
because
you a
they were
question.
about other people. No, 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 no. Let me
Did you hear
finish.
the podcast? Did
Yes,
you hear it? But it's
I
evident
never
that you
got it
didn't
that she
hear
was
it.
saying she wasn't going to
But
validate
you
his statements because they
but
were
did
about other
right.
people. I'm
I
thinking
didn't say
she's
it was about
talking.
other people. I didn't say
Well,
it was
that's what
about
you're
other
saying.
people.
Hearsay is.
Nikki, it
So if you're
wasn't
saying she's
okay.
validating everything he's saying because he's talking
Okay.
about himself
Well, let's
versus
make it
she
like this.
won't validate what he has to say about other people,
Let's
that's
make it
where
like
the
this.
distinction comes in.
Right, but
Yeah.
let's make it like this. She didn't repeat it because she didn't want to. How about that?
Okay. No, and I'm just clearing up where the confusion came in, because that's what me and Shank was saying in the beginning.
Right,
Why
but
would
we
she
all
tell us
heard
some
it.
stuff? No, why would she tell us some stuff and not others? But
Well,
if
you know
you
what? Go
and
right,
as
but
some
that's a
others are
question for
saying
her.
she
I
won't
can't answer
repeat
that.
what he
So,
said about other people, now we get it. But that's not what I thought she was saying. So okay,
right.
I hear you.
But that is what she said. That's what she
But
said.
so you said that she said that it couldn't be validated. You never said that, and other people in this chat may not have heard the podcast from her.
But it almost
So
made me feel like y'all
but
didn't hear it either
that's
because she
that's
said that.
where the disconnect is coming in at, because what you can't, when two people are talking at each other, no one gets heard. And I think that's where some of the miscommunication came in, and that's why I came up. I didn't come up here to ruffle anybody's feathers. I just wanted clarification. And you kept saying, oh, if you heard the podcast, you just quoted what she said on the podcast. It never
Right.
mentioned third parties. So you
But
never said,
nobody else out
ma'am.
of the four, out of the three of us, because you wasn't here, out of the three of
Oh,
us,
I understand
nobody mentioned that but me, that she said that, because we were all discussing the part about what he said, and what Shank was saying, you playing with me. But that was a statement that she made. He told me other things.
that.
And that
Right,
may have been a part that he forgot or kind of just like really just skimmed over. But she
yeah,
said that.
right.
Right.
No, no, right. So what
Right.
I'm saying is when
I'm sorry that it confused you and other people in the chat. But it wasn't that deep. I don't know. I can only
why do you keep saying
say
it wasn't
her reasoning for not repeating the other things he said, but that's not a shot at me. That's just what came out of her mouth. I
I'm
can't
not,
explain, right, but I can't
no, I'm
explain
not shooting
why
at you.
she repeated.
Don't
I
take
can't
the time.
explain why she repeated that Nazir said that he had a phone. They call him at 3 o'clock in the morning, but not repeat the other stuff. I can't explain that. That's a question for the podcaster. That's not my question. That's not my fight. I
Can
don't
we
know why she didn't
No,
repeat it.
you missed it.
I
You
can
missed
say I can mention why she said that she would repeat it, but you
no.
can't come up here and be questioning me about, well, why she said
To be
this.
honest,
I don't
Shank,
know.
my main deal breaker as a man is toxicity in a woman. What I mean by toxicity, I'm just speaking from my perspective. I don't like a female that's ghetto. I don't like a female that's always yelling, cursing. Because I've dealt with someone like that before, and she was a real piece of work. And I said, as I got older, I said I will always make sure if anybody I've ever dealt with, I can't deal with the toxicity at all. Like you're not a female that doesn't, you want to act more like a man and you act like a female, being aggressive, and that's my main deal breaker is a real toxic female. That's my main thing. I can't deal with that as a man.
Men have feelings too, and I see in some of our communities, men don't get to share their feelings and everything because they always getting shot down, and this caused some destructions in the relationship, because if he can't honestly share with his woman how he feel, what you think that's gonna be like? If I can share my feelings and my opinion, he should have the same right to do the same, because it's a union. Once you come together as a union, it's nothing off the table.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? As far as a woman, helping that man, because that's what she is, a helpmate. When I'm strong, if he weak, I'm going to be his strength. If he weak, I'm gonna be his strength. I'm going to pull where it's necessary to pull that, to keep our relationship together, to keep it whole, to keep it going.
If you have a husband and he's a millionaire and say, baby, I don't want you to work, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But in our communities, not saying that we don't have black millionaires, because we do, but in a normal setting, these days, it takes two incomes.
No boy.
It takes two incomes, but the respect level. Me and my husband never went to bed mad, because you're going to wake up mad. If you don't try to figure out, or, well, he said this. Okay, explain to me why you feel that way. And I'm going to explain why I feel that way. And then the whole C word, compromise. Compromise. But you got to love yourself. You got to love your mate. Did we argue? Everybody argues. But it's how you get back together to be on that standard. I love you. We're going to make this work. Whatever it is, we're going to make it work.
All right, y'all. So, just like the Tubi episode of Street Legal, we had a lot of food. We ate very well off of that Tubi reenactment. Now we have more food. I don't want to speak on the podcast name and everything, and that's just from situations from the past. How like I said, I don't. But if y'all get with me on Instagram or Nikki, Marty, or Mel somewhere, off of YouTube, we definitely will direct y'all to that podcaster. And for those that are new over here, this is just how we do. Nikki, Marty, Mel. I mean, it used to be a panel full of us over here, going back and forth, woo 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 woo. So that's just how we do. It's nothing big. It's nothing major. Come
Yeah,
on
we
in.
really all are friends. Go ahead, Shane.
Yeah. So, cause it can get heated over here. But I might play it tomorrow. I might, y'all. I might. And then that way, when I play it, then that way we can react to it and we can hear exactly what's said. So nobody won't say, well, that's not what she said. Matter of fact, I'm going to react to it tomorrow. Part 3 of this demonstration will be me reenacting. Nikki, Mel, and everybody else, y'all are welcome to come up on the panel with me. Any last words, Nikki, before we get out of here?
Oh, shoot, I was going to, no last words, and if it's okay with you, I'll drop my link at the end.
Yeah, and make sure everybody subscribes to Nikki Lynn Investigatives, right?
Investigates.
And Nikki Lynn Investigates. She'll drop the link in the chat. Yes, Nikki is a content creator now. So make sure y'all hit over there and subscribe to Nikki. Most think I'm new. I ain't starting your funky ass shank. See? Now, for all of y'all that's not familiar with the Nazaria Harris case, I'm getting ready to punish the chat because of Yvette Stewart. So make sure everybody thank Yvette Stewart for getting y'all put on punishment. How about that, Yvette Stewart? Nobody uses Shank's words but Shank. All right? Go ahead with your last words, Nikki.
No, so I wanted to just say thank you. I always enjoy getting up on the panel, talking to everyone, honestly. Yvette, I know you're not new. I remember you from the beginning, way back when we all started. So thank you, Shank, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Nikki. Don't forget to drop your link.
Okay.
And just a few words before we get out of here. So as you can see, this is the Rock Squad's 3rd annual meet and greet balloon release celebration for Shanquella Robinson. So you all can see me standing in the middle. Then you see Miss Parker. The gentleman that's kneeling down, that's Trelane. That's the Rock Squad member that was just in the commercial that I played. You see Juanita standing in back of him on the side of me. And you see Marty with the blue on. Marty, the only one with a blue jacket on. Well, Nikki, you got on a black jacket, but that's Marty in the blue jacket. Then you see Erica in between me and Miss Parker. That's Jamie's daughter. Jamie is the one on this end over here. Then Nikki Lynn is in between Miss Parker and Jamie. That's Bren in the back, the gentleman in the back. In between Nikki Lynn and Miss Parker is Keon. That's Pee-wee's other half. And then you see Squeak on the end with the glasses. So as Nikki Lynn says, we are all one big family. All right. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. It looks like we're going to be snowed in again tomorrow. It don't look like it's going to be work or school Monday. So if I don't do why hasn't Shanquella Robinson received justice after all this time, part 3, if I don't do it early tomorrow, I'm definitely going to do it 10 o'clock tomorrow evening. Make sure y'all subscribe to Nikki Lynn's channel. Also, if you would like to support the platform with a super sticker, a super chat, or purchasing a membership to the channel, just click on the $ symbol. All right. Tomorrow, on tomorrow's demonstration, we're going to react to this new revelation when it comes to Mike, whoever Mike is. And as I said, Yvette Stewart, she just loved getting y'all put on punishment. Salute everybody. I'll leave the chat running and you all can hang around. Yvette Stewart, Yvette Stewart, Yvette Stewart. But nah, y'all, we like to laugh. You know, I do allow a lot of laughter over here just because, you know, these cases that we cover can be very draining. So if y'all wonder, well, damn, why Shank laughing and why they over there, you know, laughing on a serious note, you know what I mean? You know, it's just to balance things out, all right? And once again, please, y'all, out of respect, please don't drop no content creators' name in the chat, all right? And that's just out of respect, y'all, because I ain't trying to be into it with no content creators, y'all. Once again, salute everybody, and I'll see y'all back tomorrow for part 3, all right? Salute everybody.
First of all, successful relationship is probably subjective. So it depends on, you know, what each couple is looking for out of a relationship, whether it be a financial one. Are you talking successful in, you know, how far you go business wise? Are you talking successful in how many kids we have or how big our house gets? Some people may be, you know, fine just living in an apartment.
I feel like communication is the key to a successful, first and foremost. From growing up, my father was always the provider. My mother was the homemaker. And so, like Bren was saying, time has changed to where I feel like I had to do a demonstration on, is it 50-50? Should it even be a number versus why don't we just help each other?
That she should respect that, because it's really hard for a man to tap into his emotions, and when he showed that to his woman, she should respect that.
I agree.
Communication, definitely communication, because I feel like that's a partnership. Not only when y'all come into union as a marriage, like when a man and a woman come into union as with a marriage, not only y'all building up a legacy, y'all building a family. And lightweight, even though it's not a business, y'all coming into union, y'all money coming into union, so now the household is now generating income, and it's now a business.
So that's one of my deal breakers. You got to be able to communicate. You have to be emotional available for me, and you asked this question. I have learned that from not being able to be emotionally free in my relationship, right? I will suppress some things and that cause me to react to others and in my life in a different way. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna need to come home and be able to vent to you without being called a sucker or softy and all that, because I'm human too. Right, so I need somebody that's gonna be. No, you don't have to call them. We don't have to have sex every time. But listen, I need you to be there emotionally for me. You know what I mean? I need to be able to vent to you, and you not look down on me for being human.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking this coming from a man. You know what I mean? And I'm every bits and parts of a man. You feel me? So I need that availability. Emotionally availability from you, because I'm gonna be there for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? When that shoulder you need to cry on, I'm that shoulder, and I want to be that only shoulder. I don't want her to run to nobody else's shoulder.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? So them my deal breakers. Like, be the same thing I'm gonna give you. I want back.
As y'all seen in the post before this, it take 3 hours to get to Cabo. Meanwhile, all this stuff happened on Friday. I don't know nothing of it, don't know nothing about it, don't know why it happened. Boom. So I'm thinking I'm gonna turn up. My birthday was the last week, October 22nd. Y'all can see that because I've been on my page. So I'm like, let me extend my birthday and I'm gonna go to this trip. Because I got asked to go on the trip in June, but I didn't reply because I didn't know what I was doing for my birthday, since the next birthday was the next week after mine. So, where I was at? Oh, yes, I left on Saturday. The trip was from Friday to Monday, October 28th, 29th, 30th. 31st going home. Didn't even make it there. So I get off my flight around like 2:16 Mexico time. I guess we're 2 hours ahead. 2:16 p.m. I make a phone call. To everybody who were there. Like, I need the address. So during this phone call, that's the first time I heard that Kula wasn't feeling good. They told me that Kula was sick and she was showing signs of alcohol poisoning. And they got that because one of their friends told them that they were seeing signs. So she was showing symptoms of alcohol poisoning. But I didn't know it was a fight. Hold on. I got my Bible. And I'm gonna put this blunt down because I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie on man. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not saving nobody's ass. I'm not protecting my ass. I'm just coming here to keep it real because y'all in my DMs going crazy and all this posting my address and stuff. Like, y'all can go there if y'all want, but it's not gonna be pretty. But when I got there, it took us an hour. My taxi driver, it took us an hour to get to the villa because there was traffic. I don't know why. So I got to the villa around 3:26. I instantly, as soon as I go in there, I go to Kula. Kula didn't leave my side, none of that, till the nurse came. But I had a layover in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, at 10. So, well, what it was 6 to 9. Anyway, I got on my flight to Cabo at 11 o'clock. As y'all seen in the post before this, it take 3 hours to get to Cabo.